Hi, you guys. Did you just hear my stomach growl? Hey, you guys. Oh my gosh. This was one of those impromptu. I woke up really early and I was like, I really want to talk to everybody. I felt like, well, I've been wanting to record readings for a minute and I was feeling a pick a reading coming together, but I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go. But when they don't have me put any, change of picture or title or hashtags or anything like that, I feel like these kind of readings are meant to just find who they're meant to find. You know what I mean? It's like, I literally just spoke to Archangel Michael and I was like, hey, if you want people to come in, that aren't for our greatest and highest good in terms of like, we want this like perfect, awesome, like loved up session. I'm like, however, if they do, I know that they're meant to be here for healing, connection, whatever it is. So 13 was prevalent and then 112. So I'm going to write those down. So 13 and 112. Always look in the description box. If you're new here, welcome. I was going to say, always look in the description box for extra stuff and links to things that we talk about. All right, I'm turning my heater down. I know you're probably like, heater, what? There's like a heat wave. I know we're at the beginning of the heat wave, another round of the heat wave where I live. But thank goddess, we've been getting these like little bouts of cooler weather, rain sprinkled in. It's been quite lovely. So, I have been having the little heater next to my bed when I sleep at night just because it gets chilly. I live, in a mountainous region. So at night it can, get down to 49 or 50 and it could be 80 during the day. Anyway, I digress. So if you're watching this after it's already been uploaded and all that good stuff, um, then you can go straight to the description box for timestamps. But because we're going live right now, obviously that's not going to happen. So let's drink some water and sink in. I don't know if we're going to do like a group reading per se. I feel like we are. I don't know. I feel like we're doing a pick a reading, but I also feel like if people are drawn to this channel and have like a particular question, then absolutely, you know what I mean? Like, then they're meant to be here. So, who gonna call in the power? I already was calling them in, and then they were like, start. You know what made me start? I looked down and it was 818. And blessed August, welcome August. Can you believe it's August 2nd? Blessed, do they say llamas, yamas, llamas? But blessed Lunessa, to my Celtic kin and the pagans. Yesterday was the first harvest, so I hope you celebrated in an awesome way. Uh, I actually had a really awesome day. It was really weird too because um, this conversation I was having with somebody, they're like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go, blah blah blah, and I gotta go pick up someone's rent or whatever." And I was like, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "That's right, it's August 1st." I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, "Can you believe it's August 1st already?" I'm like, "This year went by fast." So feel free to comment below or comment if you're here and how your year has been going so far. And do you feel like it's been going really fast as well? Okay, always feel free to comment. If the comments are shut off, then they're shut off. You know what I mean? Okay, thank you, Spirit, for bringing us here together today. Blessed first harvest. We call upon our higher selves and our spirit guides, the animal guides, the ancestors, the angels and archangels, the gods and goddesses, the dragons, the unicorns, the nine, our benevolent creator, and every energy and entity and deity in between. Whoever and whatever is meant to be here for the greatest and highest good of all, we open the floor for you to come through today to talk to your loved ones. If you'd like to talk to somebody who's crossed over, or if you've crossed over and you want to talk to somebody, send them a message or put this live feed in their face so that they can come over. That happens. People will be like, they're like, I don't know, you just like popped up in my feed. I'm like, yeah. They're like, I never even heard of you. I'm like, yeah. The internet is just an extension. So I'm getting, as we're opening the portal of this safe container, we are safe now. Thank you so much. As above, so below, and all the way in between, all the way around. I'm getting this really cool transmission is that they're saying the internet is the closest thing we have to our divine connection, because people are so grounded and rooted in the third dimensional energy. And some people don't even believe there's anything outside of this planet. So, to try and get them to connect, so the internet is a way for spirit to get more signs out to people, right? Maybe you have a grandma and you guys are super close, but she's not into this spiritual stuff at all, and you don't really talk about it. But what little by little, grandma finds, YouTube, and all of a sudden she goes from watching food stuff to she can't help that she keeps seeing the same video every time, everywhere she goes. Urgent messages from your spirit guides. And even grandma can't take it anymore. She's like, what does this mean? Because deep down, no matter how deep down the programming goes, we're also programmed to be completely open to signs and synchronicities. If you've never seen the movie Serendipity, when you are done with this, the next time you have the time in your schedule to watch a movie, which I hope it's soon, take a break. Get yourself some fun food, healthy fun food, and some healthy fun drinks, and plop yourself in front of a screen and watch Serendipity with Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack. It is in my top 10 romantic movies of all time. And I know that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of romance movies over the years, but it's just so magical. And I believe that it was written to show people exactly that there are signs and synchronicities everywhere. So when I was putting this reading together, I got this vibe from Spirit that, we just had the full moon in Aquarius, and we are in the middle energy. In fact, you know what? I'm going to bring my book out. I have a feeling we're going to be doing some learning today. Let me get my books out. So we just had the full moon, which is the 5th moon cycle. And now we are in the 6th moon phase, which is the reflect and release, the waning gibbous. So lately I've been drawn more to like the big-ins, like new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, third quarter moon, but this one I was really, really drawn to. And if you guys, for my OGs, you guys know that I wanted to be the magical moon medium, or I might have even been the magical moon medium for a little while, because I did all moon readings, and we did that for like, I don't know, a year and a half. Stay hydrated. It's super important. And it really helped us. And you know what's funny is, for a split second, I was like, wait, what phase is this? And I shouldn't even have to think that, right? Because I'm like, how we did moon readings every month for a year and a half. And I continued to still work with the moon, and I still continue to work with the moon. However, it's easy to slip in and out of our dimensions and our consciousness and our levels. I've been having something that happened to me recently where I've been spending more of my energy, whether physically or mentally and emotionally, in a different place. And so when I go there and I hang out and I do stuff, I feel like myself. I feel good. And then when I come back to my house in my neighborhood and where I live, I don't. I'm like, it's weird. And I really feel like I'm straddling like two different worlds right now. And I know that everything's working out and it's falling into place and all that. So I'm like super excited about that. And I can feel it. And I know that my time is dwindling in the old third dimensional energy. However, I'll let the plane go by. Safe travels, we send you safe travels. Be comfortable in the silence. Oh, and I looked down, I saw 9:55. I wonder if these are going to be readings. I have this feeling these are going to be angel numbers and readings. Let me ask Spirit, are these angel numbers represent readings? Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I love it. I said, "Are we gonna pull cards before we start this?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then my decks are just like sitting here, and I'm not even like remotely even like drawn to them at all. But I feel like they're saying like we just did. You know what I mean? Like we'll be pulling cards. We'll be pulling cards for these readings. So we're gonna be doing pick a reading. We're going to be using, so far we have reading one will be angel number 13, reading number two will be angel number 112, and oh, I just cracked my finger. And reading number three will be number 955. So if those are angel numbers or numbers that you're drawn to for any reason. So our theme is I release all that which I need to let go of to be free. Thank you for being here and thank you for the like. So this was a last minute thing. Also, you guys, I'll probably be saying this throughout the readings, but I am going live on the Lionsgate portal next Saturday, August 8th. I do not know what time. They may, I mean, I was surprised that this happened. I mean, when they had me start, I looked down and it was 8:18. It was my mom's death day. We started talking about this earlier in August. I was talking about, we can't believe it's August and blessed Lunasa and all that. This is first harvest. This is some serious stuff that we have going on right now from now until the end of the year. Right now, we are in the shadow of eclipse season. We're going to have two eclipses this month, a full solar eclipse on the 12th, which is also the new moon in Leo. And then we're also going to have a partial solar eclipse on, what day is that? I'm trying to look on my calendar. It's on the 28th. That's right. It's on a Friday. So interesting too, because the day that the new moon is going to be here on the full solar eclipse is also the closing of the Lionsgate portal. So that's pretty profound. August is a big month. I feel like July was kind of like the pre-game, and now it's like game on, MFers. You know what I mean? Like this is it, like game on. You guys remember um Wayne's World, party time, excellent. But you remember that when they were playing, every time that they'd play hockey in the street, they'd have to keep moving the goalie or the goal net or whatever, and he'd be like, "Game on!" Anyway, all right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for the likes. So today we're going to be working with the Native Spirit deck and the Past Life Oracle, because this is I release all that which I need to let go of and be free. I have been going through some major, massive changes and struggles and like just some crazy shit. And we are in the sixth moon phase right now, which is reflect and release. So it doesn't surprise me that spirit wants us to focus on, because in saying, when you say I release, I am's a really powerful tool. You can even say, I am releasing that which I need to let go of and be free. And maybe you're not sure exactly what that is. And that's why I think this is why these decks are here. We're working with the native spirit because I feel like, there's going to be some of you that have some serious indigenous wounding. And that could be from any part of the world. One of my shamans that I walked with, she had a past life she was a Mayan princess. She was a Mayan princess, and she had a lot of like old, old stuff. There are some light workers that are here right now. I mean, there are many souls right here now that have never been to Earth before, but they're really prolific at like what they do in the other realms and other planets, dimensions, time, space, whatever. So we've co-created so much shit over like time and space that doesn't really exist exactly because time was created by humankind to understand, I guess the moon and the sun wasn't enough for everybody. It wasn't enough that when I saw in the United States that it became like a law to have daylight savings time, I'm like, it's just so silly. It's, when people are trying to control like that kind of stuff, Anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent, but so even that, right? Like we need to release the control. We need to release the need to control, because when we're wanting to control something, it's because we ourselves are feeling out of control. So before we, jump into these readings, ask yourself, where are you feeling out of control right now? What are you trying really hard to manipulate or control into a certain way? I have been going through things with my, I said at the beginning of this, like I'm straddling, you know, two worlds right now, and I'm mostly like out of the third dimensional energy, like living wise and like friends, family, lovers, all that. Like I'm almost out of that, but I'm not quite. And I know that I feel like, anyway, that this last month in August is going to be profound for all of us, because we've got two eclipses, and those are, change everything. We just got done with the Mercury retrograde, but we're still in the shadow of that, right? But not to mention, astrologically, we have all these things, and we have the Lionsgate portal. The Lionsgate portal is, it's such a profound experience for the light workers. It's like our Christmas, because when we have that alignment, with the outer realms like that, especially, Sirius is basically it's like the sun of the universe, it's like the star of the universe. Sirius is, some people think that that's where we all come from. I mean, I can go through different things of belief systems or whatever, but whether you believe it or not, you can't deny that there are certain, like, you don't have to believe in something for it to be happening, right? Or for something to happen to you. And I feel as if, with the Lionsgate portal, people will be like, oh, I feel so good. Or why does the energy feel so good this time of year? Oh, it's summer. It's like, well, in the southern hemisphere, it's winter. So, you know, um, but anyway, there's just a lot of energies that are happening simultaneously right now, and will be continuing to do so. Things will die down a bit in September, but we will be going into another Mercury retrograde at the end of October through the middle of November. And then, even though we've got planets in retrograde and a lot of things that are happening astrologically, um, they are here to be our greatest teachers. And we're in the year of the freedom horse, the fire horse, to put that fire under our ass, to get us to get up and gallop and go, to leave behind the past and the people and the places and the things that you have outgrown. If you found yourself here, my friend, most likely you've outgrown probably every facet of your life. And the only way to keep it up is to continue wearing the masks, continue, living in the circus, juggling the bullshit, pretending to be a muggle, but you're not. You're a superhero. You came here to change the world. And, if my beautiful witchy grandmother on her deathbed did not whisper those words to me, I don't know if I would have been able, I pretty much think I wouldn't still be here, because she was the one that kept me going and helping me to see through certain things. And when I couldn't, I would turn to her. And then when she was leaving, I was like, don't leave me. I'm like, I need you. She was the only one in the family that truly, like, understood me, and revered my differences, because I was so much like her. And she would tell me all the time, especially when we were alone, that I was so much like her, and that there was nothing wrong with me, and that it was okay to be weird, and it was okay to be different. And if I didn't have her in my orbit, in my life, I lost her when I was 28. And then briefly after she died, she kept coming to me in the forms of butterflies. And that was the beginning. When my grandmother died, I realized that she had passed a torch of some kind. And I didn't understand it 100% at the time. But looking back on it now at 54, I see so much. And because now that I've been doing this working as a telepathic medium, a psychic medium, you whatever languaging titles you want to give me, teacher. But ever since I've been, you know, on this path, she has walked it with me. And when I started this today, it was at 8:18, which was my mom's death day almost 2 years ago. So maybe they will have me started at 8:08 because for the Lionsgate Portal live event, because I didn't think I'd wake up for this, but you know, anyway, so with all this being said, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. And before we dig into these cards, I just wanted to give you like a little background on what we're going to be doing today and how important it is to release and let the past go and leave it in the rear view. Because if you found yourself here today, you're also most likely lineage breakers. And as the ancestral lineage breaker of your line, of your bloodline, your blood and bone, and your spirit family, you know, because I feel like for a lot of us, it's not just the blood and bone. There are light workers here right now that have never been human. They have superpower abilities. They take more advantage of things because they don't really understand like what's going on. But at the back of their mind, they always know. I had this conversation with someone yesterday about this, and I was like, you know, you're a superhero. I'm like, you know, you're a superhero. Like, you know, but with great strength comes great responsibility. So, you know, if you're a superhero, you don't get to just sit in the background and just watch shit go by. You're here to be the example and the leader for others. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's a great, great saying because it's true. And I know because I've worked with horses. And the reason why that saying came about is that, you know, if you know you're going on a long trip, you're like, we got to water up the horses, right? Like we got to make sure that they have enough water because they're not camels, but horses can go a great distance. If they drink up before they go, they can go a great distance. But you have to make sure that you water them up. But you have some horses that, you know, they just know the drill. They start drinking the water. They see the water's there. They know that they're going on a long trip, so they got to drink it. But you got a young gelding, right? Thinks that they know better, thinks that, you know, whatever. And they're like, nah, I don't want any water. I don't need any water. And they're like, bitch, you're going to need some water. We're going on some crazy terrain and there's not going to be any water there, right? And you get to a certain point. The other horses are fine. The gelding's struggling, right? But you brought water. Because you know that they're young. The little young whippersnapper thinks they know better, thinks they know more, right? I've been there, right? So right now, spiritually speaking, even though we believe in things, even though we're pushing and promoting as much as we possibly can, spirit and this healing process that's happening on the planet right now, just because that's happening doesn't mean that people are going to listen. So right now, your greatest gift is to focus on yourself, right? Put your oxygen mask on first. And let's dig into these cards and find out what do I need to release? Oh, it says no, not what. This is the thing. We're saying I release or I am releasing because that's taking your power back. We're not asking a question. These cards are going to lead us to the answer. The question's already obvious. So the languaging is what's important. So you're saying in your head, I release or I am releasing all that which I need to let go of and be free or to be free. Okay. So the first reading is going to be angel number 13. Angel number 13. Do we have any messages from the Native Spirit deck with these beautiful souls that are here today, Spirit? Reading 1, angel number 13. Do we have any messages from Native Spirit? Not yet, they said. Okay, so we're going to go to past life deck. Ooh, also throat chakra. Drink some water. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden I'm like super parched. Are you the horse that refuses to drink? Haha. Are you the horse that thinks you know better? Are you letting ego and pride stop you from achieving your dreams and your goals? Are you allowing the past to hold you back from where you're supposed to be? Mighty 13, angel number 13. It's the number of the divine feminine. The divine witches come from the angel realm and they are healers. Yeah. Woo! Did you guys hear that? Oh my gosh. When I said that, my cards went flying. But I'm going to take the ones that are up because I saw them all at once and all the rest of them are flat down. Oh my gosh. But it's going to make so much sense to you guys in a minute. Oh my gosh. That was cool. That was crazy cool. Okay. Any more? Do we have any more from the past life? Okay. We may not even go into the spirit. I don't know. We'll see. To the native spirit. Okay. So angel number 13. Okay. So this is super fun because we are in the 6th moon phase of reflect and release. So welcome reading 1 if you chose angel number 13. We're going to do some bells here. So if you've got earphones on, just turn it down a bit until you get familiar with it. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna balance out your energy and knock them free. Welcome. We are here talking with Great Spirit today. Okay. Okay, so reading 1. We are jumping in. You pulled Galactic, but it's in reverse and it's really strongly wants to be in reverse. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't, Okay. And then we have Atlantis next to it. I almost put it underneath it and they said no. Then we have karmic relationship, Egypt, and leaving or traveling. Okay. Let's see. There's a lot coming through right now. The karmic relationship, let me see. Okay, so they're telling me I can show you the cards, so here they come. I don't have any lights on, and it's a little dim in here today. Oops, let me. Sorry. Sometimes the visuals do make a difference. You guys, this is very real. Reading 1, speaking your truth. I just heard somebody say, speaking my truth gets me in trouble. Well, you know what? Maybe it's the kind of trouble that you need to stir up in your life right now. I used to go to family parties and I was definitely in the minority of thinking at gatherings. And finally, I just was like, I couldn't go there and not talk. I tried all different ways. I tried to go and just be more low key. I tried to go and be interactive, but like when they talked about, politics or certain things I didn't want to, engage with because we had different ways of thinking, I would just, just not really say much. But then I'd get baited. I'd have family members who were used to me debating with them. They would try and bait me. And try and get a rise out of me. And when they realized that I wasn't going to take the bait, and instead what would happen, the last time I was with my family, I let it go and let it go and let it go for like a long time. And then finally, like we were together like over a weekend for a wedding. And finally, at the end, I just lost my shit. I just was like, you know what? I'm like, and I just like spoke my truth, and that was it. And that was the last time I've ever seen them, and last time I've ever spoke to them. And I don't regret it. You know, there's always going to be a part of me that's sad, you know. But at the same time, you know, I come from it's that kind of energy of it's our way or the highway. And if you come from that energy, which I feel like some of you do, or maybe you think you do, maybe your family and friends would be more open if you were honest, but you're not being honest. Because I just feel I keep hearing mask, and I've been hearing this for a few days from spirit now, that people are just wearing masks. And I found myself wearing masks as well. You know, having this kind of sadness and this low key like emptiness. So I feel like for some of you, you know, you're not around your galactic family, but I do feel like you have, this feels very family orientated right now. Hold on one second. Let me ask spirit some stuff. All right, you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off live chat because people like want to talk, and I feel like when it's time they'll have me talk, if that makes sense. But right now, so hold on. I don't know how to do it. Hide live video? No. How did I do it last time? I know I did it last. Maybe I started that way. Anyway, I guess I'm not taking any questions right now. But when it's, or I should say, if you have an actual question, you know, if you're here and you're asking for blessings, you're already blessed. I opened this up and it's all good. But sometimes the youngins come in here, and Spirit didn't have me to do an 18 or over. Maybe because they're meant to connect with us in some way, but also sometimes they want to play and they don't understand my energy and what's going on, and so they're just really drawn to it, and they just want to be seen. Sometimes people just want to be seen, so just know we see you, we hear you. But right now, if you can be polite as we are working on reading one, the only questions I will be answering right now will be regarding this reading. If you have an extended question, other than that, I'm just going to ignore it. I think there's a way to delete it. Oh, here it is. Channel activity, add as moderator, put user in timeout, hide user on this channel. I'm just going to remove these right now. That's all. Just because they're distracting me. It's not that I'm removing them because I don't love you. I'm just removing them because they're distracting me. Okay. And thank you, reading one, for being patient. Okay. So let's get back to this. So I feel like the galactic is in reverse because you're homesick and you're missing your soul family. And maybe you're new here and you found your way to this reading and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, well, we're your soul family. Okay, we're your star family. I'm going to turn the phone. You know what Spirit just said? They're like, turn the phone over. I'm just going to turn the phone over. Oh, I guess I can't because you just looked at my ceiling now. I'm such a dork. Hold on. Yeah, I'm like, I get so easily distracted. Okay. That's why sometimes I don't want to go live. But when they have me go live, I always know there's a reason for it. So it's all good. It's just, it's really early. You know, I'm still getting my bearings too. I mean, I pretty much like just did a few things before I did this when I woke up. Okay, so you're missing your soul family. But I feel like a lot of people who are in your life now are family from Atlantis and Egypt, and they're karmic. And that's why they're in your way now, you know. Oh, I just said in your way. Interesting. So some of you literally feel like these family members are in your way. Wow. That's intense. That's really intense. But that makes sense too, right? Because you're like, I just want to be myself. I just want to do what I want to do. And they're like, well, nobody is stopping you. And these karmic relationships are here to teach you boundaries, teach you responsibility, accountability. You know, you can call somebody a narcissist, but it takes one to know one. Meaning, like, if you recognize that energy, whether in this life or another life, maybe your exchange of energy with this person is now you're having your comeuppance. You know, I was thinking about this recently. You know, in my situation, I live off grid and I don't have running water. And I was talking to my landlord about it yesterday. Um, and long story short, um, he said something like, yeah, if we can just get you water, it would change everything. And I said, it would change everything. And then when I was doing dishes, I was thinking about our conversation. And then I remembered that there were periods of time where I would just run water. I love, even though I'm triple fire, my moon is in water, and I love the sound of water. I can sit by a waterfall or hang out by like running water, a river, an ocean. I don't want to be in it. I just want to be near it. And I love the sound of it. And there have been many times in my life where I would just turn the faucet on and I would just let it go for long periods of time. Like during a meditation, 30 minutes sometimes, because I just want to hear water going. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is my karma for all the water I wasted. Not even that I did or didn't pay for, because that's a whole other thing, right? Like we lived on this one farm where we were on a well, and I remember that there were a few times where she's like, I have never had our well run dry before. And I'm like, I remember like looking at my partner at the time and I was like, because there were times he's like, dude, the water's on. I'm like, I know, I just like it running. But some of it too was when I was on the well, I like to let it run. For a long period of time because I noticed that it tastes better, you know, when it fully got out of the pipes. And we were so far from the well on the property, it was like 10 acres. So yeah, that I would just let it run for like a minute, you know, or 2 or 5 or 10. And yeah, so I'm not proud of it. I'm laughing because I laugh at ourselves, like at karma, that we don't think, we just think that that's not a big deal, but it is. Water is a precious resource. And I'm telling you now, I know how many gallons of water it takes to do a rack of dishes. I know how many gallons of water it takes to have a shower because I have to get the water and I have to boil the water and I have to put it in the vessel to have my shower, to have to do the dishes. So sometimes we have karmic things that come back to us. And because this is karmic relationship, you know, and because this is releasing all that which I need to let go of to be free, I would say that, you know, it's also in the middle. See, look, it's interesting because I have, here, let me take this off the charger. You know, this has like these little, I just threw a bunch of lavender in there. But see, this is, it's a old secretary, right? It's my, hi guys, right? But there's this opening right here where there's not the hinge. And it's kind of interesting because they had me put it this way. And I feel like this is what they're trying to show you. It's like the karmic relationship is the center for all that you're going through. But interesting, I feel like they're trying to say that this is where you came from, like the stars, and then you were in a karmic relationships. Now this is, I know that most people will probably look at that and say, oh, it's a love relationship. I'm like, but I always feel like this one can be either way. This could be a sister, you know, kissing her brother on the cheek, you know. In the old days, they used to do like cute pictures and things like that. So for all we know, this is like a sister kissing her brother goodbye for war, and the mom wanted a picture of them to frame. Oh, that's cute. Nobody thought that was weird, right? So this could be a family relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a love relationship, but it could be a love relationship too. And I feel like the Egypt, it's almost like I feel like this karmic relationships, because I feel like it's plural. I feel like the karmic relationships is in between, because I feel like the past is your galactic and your Atlantis connection. And you may even be like, you're an ancestral lineage breaker, right? So you're most likely like that. You probably were one of the originals, one of the OGs in Atlantis. You know, it's going to be different for all of you guys because this is a mass reading. But I wouldn't be surprised if you, like, your main ties were to Atlantis, and that's where your pain is. That's where you need to release it. There could have been something tragic. I'm seeing a drowning, you know, even though I know that I know that this is water in the card. I really do feel like this is a drowning of some kind. And also, whenever there's animals, like, work with dolphins. You know, dolphins are highly intelligent creatures. So all you have to do is put in whatever search engine you use, put in dolphin spirit animal, dolphin spirit medicine. But I would work with that. Also research Atlantis. If you're not familiar with Atlantis, it's time you get yourself familiar with it, because you obviously lived there. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't. Now, Lemurians were at the same time. So we do have a Lemurian card. Let me see if they want me to pull any more cards. Because I was going to say, unless you're a Lemurian, but I'm not feeling that. Let me see if they want me to pull any native spirit cards. Because there could be something tied to that as well. Okay, no. All right. Interesting. Okay. At least not right now. They're not having me pull any cards. So the interesting part of this for me is I feel like the reason why the karmic relationship is in the middle is because once you deal with these past life things that are happening, because this is from the past life oracle deck, I feel like once you deal with the things that had happened to you in Atlantis, and you can get to that by, you know, subliminals, meditation, but just be mindful. There's a lot of fucked up shit out there right now, you guys. Like, use your intuition for sure. There are a lot of people out there who are pretending to be all light and love. And it's funny. I was watching something. If you guys don't know Tarot, you really should watch her stuff, because she's hilarious. I watch her more because she makes me laugh. She's like a comedian. She's like, I think she's one of the funniest readers out there. She just says shit like it is, but she's really, really funny. But, you know, shit, what was I saying now? Anyway, it'll come back to me. But yeah, so I feel like maybe you're just meant to connect with Tarot. I don't know. I'll put it, they didn't have me put anything in the description box now, but I'm going to put stuff in the description box later, and feel free to check out my other readings, and the description box is there. And it's got links to my channel, my other channels, and also if you'd like to contribute to the work that I do here. Although if you watch this after it's recorded, it'll be in the description box. If you want to work with me personally, you can email me, magickalmedium@gmail.com. I work on a sliding scale, and I do all different forms of readings, either recorded or in person when I can, over Zoom, over the phone. Anyway, I'm trying to jog, because I was like, what were you trying to tell me about Tarot? Anyway, okay, so I digress. So the past life, there's a lot of energies coming in and out today. So I apologize to my regulars. I'm doing my best to keep it together, but there's also, when some people are coming in, they're bringing in energies with them too. I'm literally rubbing lavender into my hands right now, fresh lavender, shucked lavender. Maybe you guys need this too. Work with lavender. It's really calming. The real stuff is the best, to make sure that it's pesticide free, toxic free, all that good stuff. How sad that we even have to fucking say that. Like, that makes me so sad. Okay. So what I feel is that Atlantis is your past and Egypt is your future. And if you look at it like this, like, I feel like the galactic's always going to be who you are. And Atlantis is always going to be a part of you too. But the Egyptian side is your past life stuff, yes, but it's also like you're going to find more like-minded people who are connected to Egyptian stuff. And it might even be that the next person that you're going to work with, because this says leaving or travel. Maybe some of you, you're having a hard time leaving these karmic relationships, but you're going to meet somebody who you have a background with or a connection with Egypt, and they're going to connect you to something or someone else, and it's going to take you on a journey. Because I feel like the suitcase means that you're packing up, like you're going somewhere. So you're either moving or you're going on a trip or both. Maybe you'll be going on a trip and you'll fall in love with the place that you are and you'll end up moving there. But I definitely feel that, also because you chose number 13, which is the number of the divine feminine, I feel like some of you are leaning more into like what really makes you happy. And you're starting to realize that being in these karmic relationships, like, take what you need and leave behind what you don't. You know, that old saying, it's going to really behoove you in this next chapter of your adventure to release and let go of that old energy, because you cannot move forward without it. You can't, it won't fit in your suitcase. The past can't go with you. It has to stay there. Now, you're going to have fond memories. I just like recorded and put up this video on my other channel, Tallulah Wren. I just couldn't get this song, The Way We Were from Barbara Streisand. It was like playing over and over in my head. And I was like, what do you want me to do? You want me to do a love reading for the tribe? Like when things like that happen, because I was starting to like, go through my more stuff and packing stuff up. And because I know I'm moving too. I don't know when or where, but I know I'm moving in the next few months. I can feel it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to distract myself from this pain and suffering right now. And then the second I started to pack stuff up, I understood what Spirit wanted me to do, and I made that video. And if they call me to, I'll put it in the description box to take you over to my other channel too. If not, no worries. But yeah, it makes you realize like it hurts. You have to cry through it. You have to be like, oh my gosh, like we had this good time together. We had this great connection, but sometimes our connections just outgrow us or we outgrow them. It's a tough pill to swallow. It's hard to let go when we don't know what's in front of us. And reading one, I feel like Spirit is urging you, to take that leap of faith, to believe in yourself. And if there's something that you really want to do, that is a gift that was given to you. And it's going to keep coming for you over and over and over until you actually enact it, because that is your path. If you're playing small and not like, owning up to your full potential, Spirit will continue to put the path in front of you until you finally say, okay, I believe you. I trust you. I believe in this. I recently had something happen where I didn't even know like how much my life has been changing over the last several months. My partner and I technically we were still together for 11 years because we were working, like for the last 2 years we've been separated, but we've been trying to work at our relationship. But we finalized it in the spring. And basically since like mid-May until now, I have been fully on my own. And I didn't even recognize how much more I was coming back to me until I recognized certain positive things I was doing for myself again. I was like, oh, wow, I stopped coloring. When did I stop coloring? I love to color. Like, it's like one of my favorite things to do, but I had stopped coloring. Now, mind you, I also mourned the death of my familiar. I mourned the death of my mother, during that time. So it was not an easy 2 years. However, I needed to do it. Drink some water. And I feel like you guys need to go through something too, like some major shift has to happen. It's just time. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading 1 right now? Okay, it's like I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on, but oh, you're losing your voice. Oh, Spirit said you're losing your voice. You're losing your identity. By staying in these karmic relationships, you are losing your voice because you're losing your identity. You're done. You're done on karmic lane. Like, you've paid the piper. I feel like the dolphins are swimming down towards you. It's almost like you're at the rock bottom, or you're in the dark night of the soul, and you've been there for a long time while you've been working through all these energies, and now the dolphins are coming down to get you. They're coming to get you. They're like, and they're like, we love you, we love you. I'm not even going to try and replicate them. I guess I just did. Not very well. But yeah, I honestly think that it is time for you guys. I don't want to say I think, because that's not part of me. Let me change that languaging. Maybe you're saying that because I keep saying I think, and maybe they're saying they want you to change your languaging. Your languaging is so vital to this healing process, and for you to really close the door on these karmic relationships and leaning into it, crying. And recently, one of our tribe members, who I speak with frequently, said, I'm not a crier, I'm not an emotional person, but they're like, I've been crying and weeping. And I'm like, yep. I'm like, you can thank the Cancer moon for that. Especially I think it was during the double Cancer moment when it was Cancer season and the Cancer moon. I'm like, that's what that is there for. When people are like, oh, who cares about astrology? Or, oh, it doesn't make a difference. Or recently, someone a new friend of mine, they're like, oh, I don't even think about like astrology or to like plan my life around astrology. And I'm like, well, you really should, because there's a reason why it's there. It's literally a map for individually for all of us to like live our lives. Now we are meant to live freely, right? We have free will, and we're meant to make mistakes because we learn from them, or make misjudgments, or it's not right, because even if it's a mistake, it's not a mistake, it's a blessing because you learn from it. So either way, these blessings that we experience are going to have highs and lows, and they're not always going to be the same, right? And we've been sold this bad bill of goods from the third dimensional energy of this like utopian, society, this utopian death. These, if you do this, you're going to go to heaven. If you do this, you're going to go down to HE double hockey sticks, right? Like, if you grew up in a Christian household, right? And when we're ruled by, you either stay in line, you're either with us or you're against us. And we learn that you have to live your life by these ways. It can be very tethering to our soul, and we can get confused, especially those of us who are in really tight-knit families, and you do a lot of things with your family all the time. Yet it's like, but if this family, if you're not happy or you dread going there, that's not good. Our lives are not meant to, we're going to have dreadful moments, yes. But in your home, in your job, in your vehicle, your surrounding kin, friends, and family, no one says you have to be exactly like-minded, but who wants to be around, people and energy that are constantly telling us who we are or who we're not, or who we should or shouldn't be? Or if maybe they're not saying it, but we're doing it inexplicably, right? Because we want to be accepted, we want to fit in. Well, that's done. So work with Atlantis energy, spiritual meaning, all that kind of thing. Work with Egypt, same thing. And the outcome is leaving or traveling. So I really think you guys are going to do this. I'm not just saying this reading one. I have faith in you guys. I think you are going to do it. I think you're going to leave whatever it is behind that you need to leave behind, and you're going to be okay. You are okay. You are okay. And you have your soul family right here. And you never know. One day they may turn around, they might. You never know. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Do we have any more messages for reading one? Any more? Thank you for the hearts. Do we have Any more messages for reading one in any capacity? Your ancestors are coming through to say that they love you. They're proud of you. Oh, and Mr. Rogers. I've been hearing Mr. Rogers' song. Okay, if you guys don't know who Mr. Rogers is, if you're from another country, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to research Mr. Rogers and watch a few of his episodes. And if you can, watch some of his later episodes, because even though I love the earlier episodes because they brought so much and he was teaching and learning and stuff, it's when he came into Technicolor and was fully supported and became a phenomenon that you can really see just how much the show changed him too. But I kept hearing that song where he's like, and I'll be back when the day is through, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you want to talk about. I will too. I don't know if that's exactly the lyrics, but research it in his songs. And I've been feeling so much love in my heart. And that's what Mr. Rogers, I'm starting to cry. I'm getting so emotional because Mr. Rogers was just so, oh, I can just feel his love. Like if every person could feel what I'm feeling right now. Whew, whew, can you guys feel the love from Mr. Rogers right now? Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I feel like he's saying that because either this is for everybody or this is just for you. But I just feel like you guys are so beautiful and you have such a tender heart and you keep giving and giving and giving and coming up short and feeling like you're missing something. And Spirit's saying the only thing you're missing is your own life. And we can give to a point that we literally lose ourselves, and if we're going to lose ourselves, we want to lose ourselves in the music and magic in the moment, right? That song from Eminem, right? You can never let it slip away. It's like, yeah, I mean, I just want to feel and be love. And I have found recently that every time I keep going back to the past, I find my inner child searching for love, searching for acceptance, searching for a connection, a real, honest, bona fide connection, having somebody really love me for me. And, that's harder to come by because a lot of people wear masks too, and they pretend to be a certain way. And I had someone who was really close in my life, and they said something to me that was really profound. And they basically said something like, you love a version of me that you see, but like they were basically saying like, but that version of them isn't here. So, sometimes you guys as light workers and empaths and sensitives, and definitely the telepathic mediums, we can see and feel a person's energy, both the shadow and the light, right? Which is great. That's our gift. But at the same time, we can also see them or feel them in a timeline that they're not in yet, or they were in a different lifetime and they may never be in this one. So we hang on and hang on and hang on, but we're hanging on more to the familiarity of the energy and the person, and recently I have had all these new friends come into my life, and I'm like, the energy is so different. And I realized the difference is that these are people who are really grounded, are really spiritual, work on themselves every day, just like I do. And I'm telling you, it makes a difference to put yourself in groups and environments of people who are always striving to be the best versions of themselves. That's not ego. That's not selfish. That is actually healthy. Because when someone is healthy and loving themselves, it is so much easier to give love out, right? But if you're giving out and you're feeling depleted, or you're going to work and you're feeling depleted, or you're hanging out with people and you're feeling depleted, that's because, people aren't trying to be energy vampires. They could be the most loveliest person, but if they're carrying a lot of shadow and dense energy with them that they're not dealing with, and it's just hovering around them, that is permeating your energy field and your energy space. So Spirit's saying you have to be mindful of that, and I don't care if it's your parents, I don't care if it's your niece or nephew that you watch. I had moments. I remember one time I was hanging out with my family, and one of the kids said something to me that I said, what did you say? Like, it literally took me so far back that I felt like my mom, because that's like how my mom would react when I would say something where my mom would be like, "Excuse me? What did you just say?" You know what I mean? Um, I remember when I was in high school and I was trying to be cool and I started like swearing at home and my mom's like, "Excuse me, um, what?" And I'm like, "I'm an adult." She's like, "You're not an adult." I'm like, "I'm a teenager, mom. All teenagers swear." She's like, "Not in my house, you know." Um, but I remember that one of the kids said something to me that was so offensive. And I said, "Where did you get that in school?" And they're like, "No, my parents said blah, blah, blah." And I was like, and I went up to my sibling and I said, "Did you tell your kid, blah, blah, blah?" And they're like, "Yeah, I mean, that's what's really going on." I'm like, "From your perspective," I'm like, "That's not what's really going on." It was something that was happening in the world. And I said, "You're giving them your perception through your rose colored glasses." I'm like, "That is not fair to them or you or the situation." Oh boy, that didn't fly over well with my family. They were just like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And I was like, I think I'm somebody that realizes that that is not a way to treat other people. And I don't care who they are. I don't care where they came from. I don't care what they did. I'm like, that's just really horrible. And those are horrible words coming out of their mouth, And, it's like if you're in a situation like that, or you're in a relationship where, somebody is negative all the time, it's going to pull your light down. It's going to pull your energy field down. It's just going to naturally do that. So you have to release these energies now, because it's also, karmic. You're the lineage breakers. So you're the person that says, "It stops here. It stops now. No more." So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to be the real true you 100% of the time. And you will. I mean, you've got leaving or travel. So it could be that some of you, like I said, you're leaving a situation, moving away from a situation, or it could be that maybe you need to travel and maybe you need to travel to Egypt. Maybe some of you need to actually take a really awesome adventure and go to Egypt and study a little bit more about these old ancient cultures and where we come from. Because the Lionsgate portal is open right now, and next Saturday on the 8th, I'm going live. And I don't know what time yet, but I may be going live at 8:08 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I'm going to talk to Spirit about that. We'll see. Sometimes they have me start at like 11:11, or, today I started at 8:18, and I don't normally start this early, but that was my mom's death day. So, which is kind of interesting because 8 and 9 is, or 8 and 1 is 9, and then 9 plus 8 is 17. And if you add 7 and 1 together, it's 8. That's awesome. Yeah, the Lionsgate portal is an 8-day too, so there's just going to be a lot of magic happening that day. All right, you guys. So that's it. Those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Okay, so we're closing reading 1. I just realized I forgot to do timestamps. Crappy-oly. But now let me see if they want me to take a break. Do we want to do a break between now and reading 2? All right, you guys, I'm going to take a break and I drank a lot of water this session. So I'm going to put it on mute, and then I'm going to come back, and then we will pull cards for reading 2, which is angel number 112. Interesting. I just realized something, you guys. Reading 1, your reading is 13, but 1 and 3 is 4, which is about stability and grounding. Reading 2 is 112, which is also the number 4. So it sounds like everybody needs to, release, get grounded and release this stuff. But 955, so 5 is 10 plus 1. Oh, it's 10 completion. All right. So I'm going to go take a break, get some water, and I will see you over at reading 2, angel number 112. Oh, and like I said, all of my information's on my channel. If you're watching this live, you can go back to if you go back to the last live, you'll see links there. If you want to contribute to the work that I do here in any way, shape, or form, there's links to do that through Amazon. And also thank you for the recent donations that I've received. You know who you are. Wink, wink. Thank you. I said a prayer. Whenever you donate anything, I always light a candle and say an abundance prayer back for you, or to you, for you, in exchange. You know, even though this is our exchange of energy and that's the exchange of energy, it just keeps going around and round and round and round. And if you'd like to work with me personally, magickalmedium@gmail.com, email me and we will set it up. All right, you guys, I'll see you over at reading 2. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2. Okay, hold on. So today we are reading from the Past Life Oracle deck and the Native Spirit deck. So we open the portal for reading 2. What messages does Spirit have for you? Okay, so we're asking Spirit. No, we're not asking Spirit. We are claiming. That's right. I'm changing my languaging right before you. I've been working on it. We got to work on it, you guys. If we really want to change, you have to do it every single day, even if it's a little bit. You got to work on it every single day, a little bit here, a little bit there, but every single day. And if you catch yourself, if you're trying to change your mindset, because if you change your mindset, you change your mind, right? And it's so true. So if you're working on changing your mind and working on changing your mindset, then we have to do it when it happens, so that we can keep correcting it until our brain understands. It's like a computer, right? So you got to keep programming it until it clicks. So today we are saying I release, or you can say I am releasing. I release all that which I need to let go of and be free. So what messages? Do we have any messages from the past life deck for reading 2, Spirit? I had a feeling we were going into Native Spirit. Okay, so we're going into the Native Spirit deck. I think this is like ancestors. For those of you who are new here, welcome. Welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. I am Tallulah Wren. I'm the magical medium. And this is my channel, our channel. Oh, when I look down, it was 11101. So if you keep seeing 1111 or 111, or you're seeing ones, Spirit saying, that's because you're ready. It's time. It's time. Okay. Oh, I pulled Spirit of Fire as I was shuffling. And at the bottom of the deck, it's Storyteller in reverse. So we'll see. We'll get to that. They're not often do they have me just jump right into the book, especially reading one. We didn't even go to the book at all. So I'm like, I don't go to the book at all. Yeah, I'm just channeling different energies. You guys are great. Spirit of Fire. So let's see. I mean, obviously I'm a triple fire, so I'm always going to be like, you know, this may be for, you may have a lot of fire in your chart. Ooh, it's dog-eared. I love that. Okay. I haven't looked at this deck in so long. This was one of my first decks, and I used to use it all the time, and I don't use it all the time now. Okay. I heard drink some water. Let's get hydrated. Stay hydrated. Okay. There are so many. Oh, this is what I was talking about in reading one about Asotero. I'm going to have to put a link to her channel if you're not familiar with her. She's seriously like one of my favorite readers, but she like bursts out into things. There are certain readers that we are so similar, and I was like that, and they were obviously like that, you know, before we knew. They don't know of me, but I know of them. Maybe they know of me. I think Magnetize Yourself knows of me, but I started doing podcasts before I even knew of Magnetize Yourself, and then I kept seeing things for Magnetize Yourself. It's a really great channel. I'll put a link for that as well. Obviously, this is going live right now, but once it's up and whatever, I'll throw stuff in the description box so you can come back later for all the goodies. But anyway, I think it's when we're mediums and we're channels, when we watch things or see things, it's like if we feel something or if something makes us really laugh, if something like that comes up again, it's like we reenact it. So I just assumed everybody was like that until I realized no. But those two readers were so similar. It's interesting. Okay. I digress. Okay, so let's get into your reading, Spirit. Okay, my throat is so tight. I feel like somebody's holding it like this, and I can't really talk right now, and it's super uncomfortable. What is going on there? The throat chakra was coming out for reading 1, too. Let's take in some deep breaths. You know what? We need to... All right, I'm going to ring some bells. So get ready if you got earbuds on. I feel like somebody wants a different bell. I do have different bells. Where are they? Here's one. Fairy bell coming through. Let's shake out that energy. We're having some residual energy. People pop in and out, you know, when it's live like this. I know that when Spirit wants me to go live, it's because they want to connect us, right? Like the spider medicine, we're the web weavers, right? The light workers. So some people are just waking up, and some people are just waking up to their gifts. So there's a lot happening all at once. There we go. That's the tone I was looking for. There we go. a little too hard, sorry. One more. Okay. Little sound bath was needed. Okay, and thank you to the OGs, my all-stars who have been here for a long time, or our new all-stars that will be here a long time. Thank you so much for holding space for all of the new, the baby witches, as one of my shamans used to say, one of my teachers used to say, right, the baby witches. A lot of people are just waking up to who they are in themselves, and so we are here to hold space for them. So I mean, I was talking about Mr. Rogers in reading one. I mean, Mr. Rogers has been coming through a lot, and just there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline, and I can feel it with every fiber of my being. It's so powerful. Okay, so before we read Spirit of Fire, I feel like they want me to pull one more, at least one more card. Oh, shit. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, first of all, ow. I know that sounds silly because they're cards, but it's the way that they fell. They fell on like the bone of my toe. Sorry to the empaths, but oh my gosh, it hurts so bad right now. Are you guys doing that? Are you like not listening? Because I felt like Spirit wanted me to read the book, and then I also felt like they wanted me to pull a card, but I wasn't making a decision. So I was kind of like trying to do both at the same time. Maybe you're going through that. Okay, so there's two cards on the side. I don't know if they want you to like participate in those, so I'm going to put them off to the side. Sorry, this shit just got very real. I feel like I was just reprimanded by the spirits. Now, listen, they never want us to hurt ourselves. They don't want us to hurt. They don't want us to suffer. They don't want our avatars to have to heal from something. But I feel like I kind of just took one for the team, because I feel like that's what's happening with you reading too. Because even though it says Spirit of Fire, I'm going to show you. I keep seeing Spitfire. Spitfire. I keep seeing Spitfire. And then Storyteller was on the bottom. Remember I said that to you guys? And then I started shuffling, and the deck flew out like all over the floor. And this one literally popped out right on top of Spirit of Fire. I should have left it there and then showed you, but so there's something to be said here. So let's start with Spirit of Fire. But you know what's interesting? I called on the healing energies from the universe before we started this. So all you have to say is, I accept this loving healing energy from Spirit, as above, so below, right? Like inwardly, outwardly, our chakras, our meridians, our auric field, they're all healed. Thank you, Spirit, for healing us from the inside out and the outside in. And our chakras and our auras and our meridians. Yeah, make up songs if that's what you need to do, because I'm hearing all that. Anyway, by the way, my toe's fine. Like, it was really hurting, and now it's like gone. And when I looked down, I saw 1812. So interesting that your this reading is 112. So 1812 is a number they want you to work with as well. If you add it together, it is the number 12, which is also number 3. So there you go. Okay, so there's a lot going on reading too. All right, so Spirit of Fire. Transformation. Take risks. Face your fears. Break out of old patterns and conventions. Just because you've always done something in the past doesn't mean that you need to continue to do it in the future. Try something new. Change your routines and habits. Reach out in new directions. The Thunderbird is rising in your out of the ashes. Wait, the Thunderbird is rising in you. Oh, okay, sorry. Ooh, interesting. So work with Thunderbird spirit medicine, like literally go into the search engine that you work with and put in Thunderbird spiritual meaning or spirit medicine. I say spirit medicine because this is from the Native Spirit deck, and these are Native Spirit teachings. And whenever we're working with indigenous medicine, they call it medicine because that's the way they look at it, right? Some people are like, oh, you don't feel good? Take an Advil. If you were standing in front of a Native American, they'd be like, you don't feel good? What's wrong? And then they would figure out what it was and they would give you some tea, or they would give you an oil to rub on your temples. You know what I mean? Like natural things like that. It is the bane of the white man, right? Like that this was created, these demon snake oil pills to keep people sick and make people sick. It's just really gross. I'm telling you, there's going to be a time where we'll look back on this chapter of history and humankind and it'll be like, wow, that was hell. Like it really was. It's very interesting. So remember that in this reading, this is, I release all that which I need to let go of to be free. So I feel like the indigenous ancestors are talking to you. Now, you may have indigenous in your bloodline. Now, you don't have to be Native American. You can have, like I was speaking of one of my shamans in reading one, how in one of her past lives, she was a Mayan princess, you know? So that carries over with her here. But in this life, she has, I think her dad's from Pakistan, and I forget like her whole lineage, but I think she comes from Romanian witches, or like maybe we just studied them. I don't remember exactly. I used to know. Maybe I do right now. It doesn't matter. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? It's like, so, and it could even be that in a past life, because that deck is here and my eyes keep being drawn to it, it could be that you were indigenous in a past life and not in this life. Like for myself, I do have some Cherokee running through my veins, but I absolutely positively can feel indigenous in me, like through different lineages. But also I have a really strong connection to like the Celtic regions. So, and Vikings, I'm really drawn to Viking energy. So I'm sure in these lifetimes we're like, okay, in this lifetime I want to be a Viking, in this lifetime I want to be a Mayan princess. So it makes sense. But it imprints through our blood and bone, and it imprints through our soul. So Earth is a school for learning for the soul and expanding our awareness and our consciousness that we are one, and that what we really are, and that we're not just these blood and bone, organic meat sacks, that we're dragging around, right? It's like, I mean, if we don't tend to our avatar and we let it go, we can see how quickly our bodies can get out of shape, and our minds get out of shape, and our souls get out of shape, and our hearts get out of shape. But once we start caring for ourselves again and eating well and taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves, then our spirits get lifted and we feel better. So I feel like for some of you, you're in a transformational period, and spirit is like, I mean, the fact that you have two cards that have fire on them, I know this deck very well. Not every card has fire on them. Out of the whole deck, you have two of the main fire cards. And the storyteller could be, I hear writer. So it could be for some of you, it's time to write your story. It also could be that it's time to do some journaling. It could be music. Maybe you're a musician and it's time to, share your life and your experiences with the world through song. Maybe you're meant to write a musical. In the last several months, whenever I get an idea, I either write it down or I say it into my phone, either through video or through a voice note or something. I don't always keep them. And every so often I'll go back and I'll like kind of listen to things, and I delete things. And sometimes they're kind of just like reminders, but sometimes it's like a moment, and I'll have a thought about somebody and I feel like I need to put it somewhere. It's so important that we keep doing that. Get out of your head and out into the world, right? There was this part here where it said, try something new, change your routines and habits. I have tried all different ways, meaning like to take care of my avatar. And I have found in certain times, I wake up in the morning and I have water, not hot water, not cold water, just room temperature water. That's all I want is water. And I don't want food. A lot of times when I do these things for you guys in the morning, and my stomach will growl, and it's funny, because I'm like, my stomach's growling. I'm so sorry. It's like, I'm not really hungry, but I am hungry, right? Like my avatar wants food, but I don't want to eat. And that's okay, because I'm doing spirit work or I'm doing other things. But like when I know I'm going to do manual labor work, you know, like working outside, it's very different because I'm like, I know that I'm going to be, you know, X amount of hours. I need to take care of myself, and I have to put fuel in my avatar so it can run, right? The car can't go without gas, right? Or electric, I guess. um, but, you know, so fossil fuels, interesting. I feel like if some of you were drawn to reading one, Atlantis was in there. If you were drawn to reading one, this isn't going to be for everybody because reading one was very specific. I could tell already this is very different from reading one. But if you're drawn to it, go, right? But we spoke about Atlantis in there. So if you feel a pull to past life in Atlantis, you may want to go there. A lot of heavy, interesting stuff came through though. Okay, so, you know, they're telling you to take a risk and step out of your comfort zone. So maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe it's something that simple, or maybe you're the opposite. You're not eating and you're like fueling with coffee or tea, but you're not like having like food. And then you're like going out into the world, and by 11 you're depleted, and then you're like ravenous at lunch, and then you're like, you know, maybe you eat a salad or whatever, and then you're like, oh, I have a big day ahead of me, I'm going to have a cookie. But then you eat the cookie and you have a cookie, the cookie takes you on a sugar high, and then it fucking drops you off and takes you to the lowest low. And then you perk up with coffee so you can like make it to your meeting, but you don't really feel like yourself, and you're ungrounded because you're like shaky and you shouldn't really have had that coffee. And then you can't really sleep that night. You know what I'm saying? We have to start recognizing what patterns work for us and what patterns don't work for us, and releasing old energies and patterns and stepping into new ones that feel good for you. You know, maybe instead in the morning, you know, you wake up, and it's going to be different for everybody, but you have, you know, some breakfast, whatever's good for you. But something, research your breakfast too, because you have to look at your food as fuel. I don't know who this is for, but you have to look at your food as fuel. You know, most of the time, if I want chips, or if I want to eat granola instead of eating fruit, right? Then I'll have both. Like recently, my new favorite thing is chopping up an apple, and I put it in a jar with some cinnamon, and then I leave it in the fridge. And then when I am craving granola, I'm like, cool. Then I'll have some granola, and I'll throw in some coconut yogurt because I'm vegan. And then I'll throw in some raisins, and I'll throw in those cinnamon apples, and I'm like, voila, I'm gonna have that today, yummy, after this. And it's like my new favorite like treat, right? But it's ancient grain granola. It's all good for me. There's no sugar in there. There's some coconut sugar, but there's no refined sugar. My body crashes on refined sugar. And if you're like me, if you're always looking to catch the high and catch the low, or, you know, has anyone ever told you they thought you were bipolar, or have you been diagnosed bipolar? A lot of times in my experience, people aren't bipolar. They're just super sensitive empaths. Like they're like a superpower empath. You know, now that people are just throwing around empath, they don't understand the difference between empaths and empathy, you know, different levels of those as well. And we have telepathic empaths, psychic empaths. That's a whole different ball of wax too. So depending on which category you fall into, you can easily take on the energy of people, places, things, you know, and food. And your body, drink some water, and your body is so sensitive. And I feel like you keep trying to act like you're like everybody else, that you can function on, you know, 3 cups of coffee in the morning. But they're like, no, how's that working for you? We're in a different dimensional field now. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, another light worker, and they were telling me something that happened, and I saw a vision of it. And then like later on when we were hanging out, I said, you know, I started to like explain why things happen. They're like, yeah, you're right. It happened when it was with that person. I'm like, yeah, I saw the vision of the whole thing. I said, remember when you told me this? And they were like, yeah. And I said, and remember when I said, you know, that's not good karma. I'm like, I know you think you're helping, but I'm like, that you're taking somebody's power away, and it's manipulation. Because the second we take away someone's free will, it becomes manipulation and it becomes a karmic tie. So reading 1, we spoke about karmic relationships. So again, if you're drawn to reading 1, go check it out. But this is, you're saying, I release all that which I need to let go of to be free. So spirit is saying, like, let go of that, and let go of control. This is a big thing for light workers. This has been with us for a long time, because we grew up in these places, in these societies where, we were told who we can and can't be. And now we're taking our power back, and that threatens a lot of people. It threatens a lot of energies that have been in control for a long time. Also, I'm seeing a few different things. I'm getting some scrying and things around me right now. So I see somebody like sitting at a computer, and you're leaned forward and you're like, why do I have back problems? And Spirit's like, maybe it's because you're always leaning forward. So whether it's at home you're doing this, or whether you're in bed or you're at a desk, I'm hearing that you need to have comfortable back support and to work on your core. It's time to really work on your core. Also, I'm seeing the letters J, and I'm seeing an A and an R and a C. I'm also seeing like this little scully. It's like so I feel like maybe this skull means something to you guys, but it's kind of like, it's like a cute ghosty skull. It's hard to explain it, but and then I'm also seeing somebody on like a moped. I'm hearing, well, this is going to be very specific. I'm hearing, if you have a moped, I don't think this is, no, I'm changing my languaging. I'm getting the energy from Spirit that that's a no-go for you. It's dangerous, and even if you're wearing a helmet and all that stuff, I'm seeing like wherever you're riding this apparatus, because it might even be more than that. It could be a bike for some of you. It could be like an electric bike, or it could be a moped. Moped was the first thing I saw, but then I saw like a few different, I just saw you on something on 2 wheels and a helmet. And I am even going so far as I'm seeing it looks like a divine masculine in a suit and a tie, like a sweater vest. I don't know. This is very specific. It's very specific. So I'm hearing like the moped is a no-go, or like the bike or something that you're taking to work, because wherever you're driving this, it's just really dangerous. And Spirit is giving you a heads up right now to not do that, because it's just really dangerous. I don't give outcomes like that because we have free will. And right now we're talking about, I release all that which I need to let go of and be free. So I don't want anyone to feel tethered to anything, but that came through really strongly. And while I was saying that, somebody came on live. So it could even be that one person had to get that thing where they're like, oh man, maybe I'm not supposed to fix my moped, I don't know. Either way, but these are the kind of signs and synchronicities from angels that Spirit wants you to embrace and remember as well. Okay, so the other part of the card says, your native spirit wants you to know, in native cultures, fire was thought to be a gift from the creator that carried the power of renewal. Fire can maintain life and it can destroy it. It is the warmth of the tribal fire, but it's also the thundering lightning bolt cast down from the sky. It can purify and transform, and it can annihilate. Fire represents your life force, the spark of life within you, and also the pure white light within you. The spirit of fire invites you to take some risks and face your fears. We often are reacting to situations because of preconditioned responses based on our self-generating definition of self. Every time you change an old habit, even changing to a different breakfast food, what did I just say? Isn't that crazy? I didn't even see that, honestly. It helps you begin to step out of a limiting definition of self. Purification by fire creates transformation. Purification by fire creates transformation. So take care to keep your energy in balance. Fire that burns too brightly burns out, but a fire that's left to smolder dies. Wow. So the journey in this medicine, this fire medicine, is when you first awaken in the morning. Okay, so you guys paying attention to this? I don't know if you're gonna have to take notes or not, but just this is the journey. So the first part we read was the card meaning. The last part we just read is your native spirit wants you to know. And this part of the card is called the journey. So it says, when you first awaken in the morning, focus on the emerging sunlight. Imagine that you are breathing in that light. Gaze unblinkingly into a candle flame and focus your awareness on the inner flame within you. By doing this, you're activating the spirit of fire that dwells within you and around you. Imagine yourself to be a single candle flame, a campfire, a forest fire, electricity, lightning, the sun and the stars, and affirm this affirmation. Okay, I had a feeling we were going to have something like this. Okay, so I will do I'll bring the screen in too. And there's your fire. Fire, fire, fire. Okay, so here's your affirmation. May the light of the sun illuminate my heart, that my heart may illuminate the world. Beautiful. So now fire is, like they just said, right? So only light a candle if it's safe to do so. And if you're going to do that in the morning, then set an intention when you're lighting the candle. Even maybe speak the affirmation while you're lighting the candle, you know. But also remember, if you stay at home, then it's fine. But if you're going off to work, remember that you need to blow that candle out, or, you know, let it burn until you're going to leave, and maybe have a ritual that you always go step outside and blow the candle out so that the smoke goes outside. And then, you know, put the candle back in, however you want to do it. Or remember that you don't have to have the actual candle. It's a third dimensional thing that we need to have, that material thing. Just envision a candle in your mind. Then you don't have to light a candle at all. But if you like the ritual of it, or if you're waking up, especially if it's a special day, you know, Lionsgate Portal is, you know, coming up in real time. Today is August 2nd, but at the end of the week on the 8th is the portal. And the Lionsgate portal closes on the new moon on the 12th of August, the new moon in Leo. We are in Leo right now, which is a fire energy. So it doesn't surprise me that they're having you work with fire. But from the new moon on the 12th until the 22nd, when we go into Virgo, you'll have about 10 days of like the double energy of fire. And I highly recommend that you work with that fire energy to really exploit yourself in the most beautiful ways, you know, in ways that people see you with love and kindness. Be that light in the world, you know? I mean, this literally says, may the light of the sun illuminate my heart, that my heart may illuminate the world. That's really powerful reading too. That's so powerful. Now, do we want to read from the book for Storyteller? Because I feel like the storyteller said what it had to say to those who needed the medicine. Let's see if we have any more cards that want to come through right now. And when you hear that, that's just me knocking out any old energy. So now we're asking if there's any more messages extended from these messages for Spirit of Fire and Storyteller. Okay, not from the Native Spirit deck. Let's see, from the Past Life deck, are there any messages? Any messages whatsoever? Any messages? Oh, this one was like really coming up. Oh, okay. So, you know, some of you, I know we're empowering ourselves today by saying, I am releasing all that which I need to let go of and be free. I release all that which I need to let go of to be free. But also, I feel like some of you are asking what you needed to do. So you guys, come on, look at this. I have to show you. So we pulled spirituality and religion, and hello, a flame, a candle, just like they said. And look they had me put it under storyteller. So, and see how they have a book? Now, this could be for some of you that your past life stuff is religious stuff, and I totally get it, right? Like I was raised in a very stringent religious household, so I get it. So this could be the thing. Maybe you're like, I am empowering myself, but I kind of know, like, what is there anything else I'm not doing? And I feel like this is what needs to burn away. An old belief system, an old process. It could even be my hands, my eyes keep going to the hands. So you could be actually reading too. You guys could be palm readers. Maybe maybe you've always wanted to, I mean, look at the creases in their hands. Wow. I mean, everybody's hands are different. Look at mine. I don't know if you guys can see. My hands are pretty cool, actually. People who look at my hands are like, you have hands of like an elder. They're like, you're 54. I'm like, yeah, I have X's all over my hands. I have, and on my fingers too. I don't know if you guys can see it. They're not having me turning lights on. Do you see there's X's on my fingers as well? They call it the mark of Christ, but it's the Christ consciousness energy. It also talks about many lifetimes. So maybe you guys are, you've lived many lifetimes, but maybe it's like the spiritual, religious ones that you need to look more closely at and let go of, because this was at the bottom of the deck. And I know that it's not fire, but it is the sun, and the sun's in this one too. And this one, it's like, it looks like the sun went down. It's like, it's like dusk. It's like almost nighttime. So maybe you guys are struggling and you're like not being able to sleep with monkey mind with old stuff, but I definitely feel like you need to face some fears. Also, I don't know who this is for, but maybe you guys are Leos, but if you want to take a screenshot of this, I'll read it, but I definitely feel like this is for some of you, and I'll read it right now. But I feel as if like you're going to want to go back and reference it. So you may even want to like look at the timestamp 142. Okay, drink some water. Okay, so, oh, my glasses are right there. So it says, the Leo year ahead 2026. During the first 6 months of the year, take some space and time to reflect upon what it is that your heart truly values, so that you will be able to make the best possible use of the opportunities coming your way in the year's latter half. So yeah, and honestly, you guys, I feel like this applies to a lot of fire signs, and with all the stuff that's been going on with Jupiter and those who are aligned with Jupiter, Sagittarius, I know like that's our ruling planet. So I feel like you guys are like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's not going to happen. I just got chills all over my body. It's not going to happen. You need to burn that away. That's from the spirituality and religion. Like that's from, and if it's not that, then you came from like a really rigid upbringing. Maybe your parents were completely not religious at all, but maybe they were more scholastic and like, or, you have to read 10 books a week and get your nose in the books and stop watching television. And, that is just as hardcore energy. It's just wielded in a different way, but it's very similar energies, okay, of control. So I feel like that's for somebody as well. So let's just, woo, shake that out, shake that out. I'm going to do a fairy bell. Watch your ears. Let's get rid of that energy. Okay, thanks, you guys. All right. So, yeah, so I feel like this is like, when it first started saying the first 6 months of the year, I was like, oh, I wonder how this is going to apply. But I think that's the most important part is right now, no matter who you are, you don't have to be a fire sign. If you found yourself to this reading, you're here for this message. So, they're saying during the first 6 months of the year, whether you're Leo or not, but you should check your chart and see where your Leo placements are, because maybe that's where you'd be like, holy shit, like that's where I'm, that's in my whatever house. And that's why I'm struggling with finances, or, because I did get like, I kept hearing ABBA's money, 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 always funny in a rich man's world. I kept hearing that, la, la, la. Like, what is that next line? If I had a lot of money, In a rich man's world. So spirit is like, change your mindset, change your mind. Like that's what they're trying to get you to do. Change your mindset, change your mind, right? If you're thinking lack, lack will come to you. If you're thinking, the other day I was saying to spirit, I'm like, this and that, blah blah blah, I need this, I need that. And the next morning I woke up, and within maybe an hour or so after I woke up, it arrived. So, it really does make a difference. We're in a different energy field. It's just that, we were told to, like, it's the languaging. That's the thing. That's the manipulation. It's not just like, advertising or social media or TV or whatever, or a movie, or you want to be like this character. It's so much deeper than that. It is languaging. That's where it starts. It starts in the mind. So when the mind starts getting poisoned and conditioned to think and feel and be a certain way, it's a muscle. It'll just keep going, right? Is it a muscle? But you get it, right? Like it'll just keep like repeating. So we have to make the change. That saying, be the change you want to see in the world. It's not just like be the change you want to see in the world. I mean, that's great, but it's like, no, it's like, really think about that. If you want to see change, you have to be change. If they call me to, I'll, once this is uploaded, I'll put it in the description box, but I saw Anne Hathaway on this. It was with her, Meryl Streep, and, oh, beautiful. Why can't I think of her name right now? I know her so well. The Brit, from Devil Wears Prada. Anyway, they were doing an interview together, and I was really drawn to it. And the whole interview was so beautiful, and they all were telling like different stories, and even the girls were like just like fangirling over Meryl Streep when she'd tell a story, and they're like, did that really happen? She's like, oh yeah, and it was just really cool. But there was this moment where Anne Hathaway said that, I'm paraphrasing. I'll put her actual quote, because I made sure I wrote it down perfectly because it was so good. And when I'm feeling low, and when I'm feeling like I don't make a difference, or that I couldn't make a difference, whenever I start to feel that way, I will reference that quote or some other positive quote. But she basically said, and like a roundabout way, be the change you want to see in the world. But she said it in a way like, you want to be an artist, like then you have to like bring, you have to be it. If you want something to come to be, you have to be it. I wonder if they'll let me, can I look for it while I'm on here, while they're still on? Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's a really great quote. So look for it in the description box once this is uploaded and edited. But it was so profound, and it just made me, she basically was saying, like, if you want something in the world, then you have to create it. So if you want change, you have to create change. Change isn't, something you can go buy in a store. Like Sherry used to say, if it came in a bottle, everybody'd have a nice body, right? But like, you have to work at it. You have to, and we've been promoted laziness too. So let me see. Let's see. We left off at, okay, so during the first 6 months of the year, take some space and time to reflect upon what it is that your heart truly values, so that you will be able to make the best possible use of the opportunities coming your way in the year's latter half. Now it's August. We are officially in the latter half, right? We are in the 8th month of the year. So in the year, I love Pam Gregory. So it says your empathy and compassion should theoretically have been growing, as should have the powers of your imagination. Not to shit on us, but perhaps it is now time to build what you have learned into your outer persona. It is by the early days of July that Jupiter, Jupiter, beneficent of planets, has taken up residence in your sign and aligned directly with an unusual configuration of Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Together, their influence is dominating the year's cosmic weather, encouraging a move into new horizons of connectivity and knowledge. It is your sign that arguably can benefit the most from this trend. Pack your bags, ready for the great adventure, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that may be offered, one that will allow you to express facets of your personality that have heretofore lain out of view. Oh, I love that. Do not let your personal fear of failure or the resentment and doubts of significant others or those you hold dear keep you back from heart and soul fulfillment. Leo, after all, is the sign of the heart, and Jupiter's presence in that sign can only strengthen its pull. August Leo solar eclipse promises some kind of major change in your personal expression. Use your willpower to ensure that it's the one that you want. Oh, reading two. All this fire energy. Fire, fire, fire. That's from the original Overboard with Goldie Hawn. When she's like spraying them with water after, and that is such a pivotal scene too, right, in the movie where he's lying to her. If you've never seen Overboard, I'm not going to tell you the whole movie, but the premise is that this man is taken advantage of by a rich, non-caring, non-feeling, completely non-empathetic person, and then this person befalls a terrible experience, and they get amnesia, and nobody is coming for them. And he notices that the person that is supposed to be coming for them is acting like they don't know them. And so he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to tell her that she's my wife, and I'm going to bring her here and make her my slave and take care of my kids and blah, blah, blah. And that's how she'll pay me back. And in the beginning, it's funny, right? Because she deserves it. She was horrible to him. She like did these horrible things. And then, especially when you find out he's a widower, and he's like this single dad, like just trying to make ends meet and whatever. And she's just so born rich, doesn't know what it's like to struggle or suffer. There's even this part where he's like gets in her face and he's like, you're so spoiled. You don't even realize how spoiled you are. And she's like, I'm not spoiled. She's like, everybody wants to be me. Because she's just like, she sounds like Miss Piggy. But, it's just, and then after, weeks and months that she's there, she starts to fall into the role of the one that he gave her. Until finally she just says, something's wrong. This isn't me. Ooh, now it's starting to rain. Interesting. Like, don't let the water put out your fire. Maybe you guys are surrounded by water signs that are putting out your fire. I just heard, don't let the water put out your fire. I don't know who that's for. But when she finally recognizes who she is, but doesn't remember who she is, she can just feel it, her intuition. She's like, I feel it. Don't you think I feel it? And I used to say that to my mom. As a starseed, I'd say, I'm not like everybody else. I'm weird. Why am I like this? Why isn't anybody else like this? Why, and they kept trying to make me be something different. And here I was, this triple Sag with my moon in Scorpio. And it was like so obvious who and what I was meant to be, but everyone kept trying to, dominate me and control me because they didn't know what to do with me. Do not let anyone take your fire. Beautiful reading too. You are the Spitfire. You're the Spitfire. That's why I kept saying it when it said Spirit of Fire. You are the storyteller. And you're going to do it by walking in beauty, by showing the world that you can do it with love in your heart. I think those are your messages, but I always grab the decks to see if we have any more. Do we have any more messages from the past life deck? Do we have any more messages from... No. Does anybody need any messages from any books or teachings before we go? Are we done with reading two? Okay, reading two. Those are your messages. Also, I'm hearing like, especially for the Northern Hemisphere family, I'm hearing this fall, like today is August 2nd, Oh, I just realized, you guys, in real time, this is an 11 number. Oh, angels, angels, we have heard on high. It's okay. You don't have to be like everybody else. I feel like that's weeping. I feel like you guys need a good cry. We have another almost week and a half, a week from Wednesday. So today in real time is August 2nd, Sunday. but the last quarter moon is Thursday, and this is in the release. We're in the reflect and release energy. That's why we're doing the reading around this energy. But the next phase, the next moon phase, the third quarter moon is the seventh moon phase, and it's about transition and forgiveness. And I don't know if they're going to have me do anything on that, but maybe this is about you transitioning out of this old life and this old way of thinking and moving into the new version of you, but forgiving, that yourself and others for anything that's transpired. Because remember, even if something broke you, it broke you into something else. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And it may not feel that way, but you are. And just keep walking in beauty, work with these energies, meditate with your past life, ask, however your languaging is with spirit when you're in meditation, ask them, to come in and show you any past life traumas that you may be dealing with. It could even be something good that happened that maybe you're continually trying to perpetuate in this lifetime. Right now, we switched the nodes. We're now, the north node is in Aquarius and the south node is in Leo, and it'll be there for about 18 months, I believe. And it's interesting because those are my nodes. And I even said to Spirit, I was like, am I just like thinking that I'm supposed to be this or that? Or, maybe I just love music, but maybe I was a famous musician in another life, but this isn't the life. They're like, no, the difference is like in my other lives, either I was like famous and I was really pompous about it and it wasn't good, like I led from the ego. Because when you look at the north node in Aquarius and the south node in Leo, after we just heard about the Leo energy, right? Like it makes sense because now the south is in the past and the north node is like your north star. And Aquarius is more about community and humanitarianism. Humanitarianism, is that the right word? Humanitarian. But and working together to like make it a better world. And so it could be, so you might want to check with your north node and your south node as well, because your north node is what your life purpose is and your south node is what your purpose was, or it could be like a repurposing of your old purpose. Does that make sense? Like maybe in one of my past lives, I, played the piano and sang, or I played the harp and I sang, or I just stood in a room and sang. But in this life, I'm meant to be in a band, or you know what I mean? I don't know, or collaborate with others. Like, I mean, I literally have days where like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to write a song with Stevie Nicks. Oh, I can't wait to write a song with Taylor Swift. Oh, I can't wait to perform with Cher. Like, I really say these things because I want it to happen, and if it's meant to happen, it will. But even though, I mean, Taylor and I are so parallel, it's freaky. And with our birthdays being the same, but we also have very different like moons and rising and things. So in some ways we're very similar, in other ways we're not so similar. But it's kind of wild. Like I've been having my same writing style since before she was born, you know, you know what I mean? But yet we have a similar writing style. And I was like, I bet we'd have so much fun writing songs together. And we're both like so excitable that we'd probably be like, oh my God, oh my God. So I feel like we would write like so many fun songs together. So Taylor, if you're listening, I can't wait to write a song with you. Let's do it. But yeah, okay. So that being said, you know what I mean? So it could be some links there as well. Okay. I rambled on there a little bit. Sorry. All right. Do we have any more closing messages? I did feel at the beginning of this that some ancestors wanted to speak. Is it in this reading, Spirit? Is there any ancestors that want to talk to anybody before we go? Oh, yay. Okay, cool. We're going to be doing some channeling. All right. Oh, Mr. Rogers. Yes, they're saying that Mr. Rogers is the common thread through this whole thing. So work with Mr. Rogers. Oh, hi, Fred. His name was Fred. Like he went by Mr. Rogers, but like he wouldn't have you call him that in person. He would have you call him Fred. But like to the kids, he was Mr. Rogers, and so many of us grew up with him. So like he'll always be Mr. Rogers. Did you ever have like that like neighbor or like friend of the family or something, and like you always called him Mr. So and so or Mrs. So and so, and then like you become an adult and they're like, you don't have to call me that, and you're like, yeah, it feels weird to call you by your name. That's how I feel with Fred, but I don't, because he's here, and man, he is just such a beautiful soul. He's definitely part of the Christ consciousness. Okay, so yeah, so when you're feeling blue and when you're feeling low, watch one of his old episodes, and whichever one you're drawn to, they're all over YouTube. He's having a comeback. Mr. Rogers is having a comeback, kind of like, well, he had a comeback after his death and like surrounding that time. But I feel like when he's saying like he wants to have a comeback and like the energy that he promoted, which was just loving each other, listening to each other. He said, your feelings are valid. Your emotions are valid. It's starting to rain again. And oh, Mr. Rogers is saying, it's okay to cry. And you can talk to Mr. Rogers anytime you want. You can call on him like an archangel. He really is. He's an archangel. I can feel him. So, yeah. So whenever it's such a good feeling to know you're alive, it's such a happy feeling, something growing inside. We're gonna make a happy, snappy today, something like that. So, yeah, I'm hearing like learn his songs, sing his songs to feel better. 'Cause I'll be there when the day is new, and I'll have things to show to you or something, and you'll have things you'd like to talk about. I will too. Yay, we ended reading one on that too. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Okay, I'm hearing Gwen Stefani. I don't know who that's for. Maybe you have a connection to her, or you really like them, and maybe this is a sign like that you needed this message right now from Mr. Rogers. Maybe you needed a confirmation. Maybe you want to do a children's show. Maybe you want to write children's books, you know, storytellers in here. I'm definitely hearing that. Yeah, journaling, telling stories, sharing your experiences. I'm also hearing plant medicine. Talk to your plants. If you don't have plants, get plants. Plants are a really great option if you can't have animals in your building, or if you're renting a house and you can't have animals, not even fish. Plants listen. They're great listeners, and they love music. They love classical music. They love rock music. And if you're like, oh, I'm not good at growing plants, then research it and look for the plants that are super hard to kill. There are some plants that can go a long time without water. There are some plants that don't need a lot of light. They were literally designed for that purpose, right? Because the sun doesn't shine on every spot of the earth. So keep that in mind. Oh, that's so sweet. I feel like there's something there. Also, I'm hearing that some of you need a makeover. I saw she's new to my orbit, but I've been binge watching her channel. I think her name's Alexandra Gator, because I think it's AG Renovations or something. She's new to my orbit, but I've watched several episodes already. But anyway, she just did a balcony or like a outside makeover. I feel like some of you need to, like, you would sit outside more, even in the winter. Like, I feel like some of you would sit outside more if you had that. And Spirit's saying, then create a space that you can have outside all year round, you know, where maybe you have a chimenea, so that in the winter you can put a fire outside, or you get like a fire pit, or you build a fire pit so that you can sit outside. That, you know, obviously when it's raining, it might not be as fun. But so, you know, and obviously where it's safe. But I'm definitely feeling a fire connection with you guys, like that you need like a fire, some type of fire space, if that makes any sense. But also just to watch the show to get some ideas, because she, I guess she's got other shows and programs, but one of her biggest things that she does is studio apartment makeovers. So maybe this is for some of you that you need to make over, or she'll do like a bedroom makeover or bathroom, a small, she just did an entryway for these people that honestly, I'm not joking. I mean, I'm good. I really am, but I, I was like, she's on another level, her and her team, honestly. They're so good. And it's really cute to watch the old episodes where she's like younger and like working with like, more IKEA stuff. And like she's now like, I think I saw one of her episodes where she went back to make over a room again from the first season because she's like, oh my gosh, remember when we did this? She's like, look at how much we've changed and grown, right? And evolved. And now she has more sponsors, so she can really put in really nice stuff. So it's super fun to watch. But she also tells you how to do it on a budget. And she reminds, like, hey, once we did this for $350 a room, now we're thousands of dollars for a room because they're doing partnerships with a lot of these companies, and because it's free advertising, so for the company it's all good, it all works out, it's like a good marriaging, right? It's an exchange of energy. So and I think she gets a cut too on some things, but I'm hearing from spirit that even just moving things around sometimes and throwing in some plants can really change, and not plastic plants, or something that's alive, something that needs your energy, just like you need theirs. I have had so many different plants, and one of my plants, I really thought she was not doing well. And long story short, we had this windstorm and I put her on this plant stand outside. And when I went out the next morning, I'm like, oh, I'm like, no, I'm like, what happened to you? I was like so upset. The interesting thing was the vessel, the ceramic, very beautiful, thick ceramic vase did not break. I do not know how, but it just didn't, right? Like it wasn't meant to. But she like fell out and she was a mess. She was a mess. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, that's it. She was telling me she doesn't want to. And as I was like gonna like chuck her like into like the compost and like say a prayer over her, because I'm like, she doesn't want to be alive anymore, I heard she was like, no, 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 no. She's like, put me back in, put me back in. And it made sense because she wanted to break up her roots because she had been in this other pot for a really long time, way too long of a time. She was gifted to me by someone who was like, I can't keep, it's a lemongrass, right? And they're like, they just grow so fast. And the other two, I was given three, and the other two, like all three were beautiful. And then the other two just like died. It was weird. I couldn't keep them alive. I was like, do you want me to change like I was going to wait to change in spring? And they were like, no, but this one, she wanted to stay alive. And I've now called her Winnie. And like, she was like the scarecrow. She was all over the place. But then we like put her back together, and I brought her in the house and I said, I'm going to put you in the window in the sun. You do your thing. And lo and behold, holy shit, she came back. She came back, and she's stronger and more beautiful than ever. So, she's going through a rebirth. We're all going through a rebirth right now, a massive transformation. And reading too, you are meant to do something really big here. And I think you know that. And I feel like you've always known that. And so Spirit is saying, it's time to buck up, camper. Because you know what? The show must go on. And you're on in 10 minutes. 5, 4. No, seriously, like Spirit's like trying to tell you, like, and you're on. You know what I mean? Like, it's time. So you got this. I believe in you. Spirit believes in you. And if you need more extensive energy, I've got playlists. I've got plethora of readings. I've had this channel for like a decade, I believe now. So, even if it's 10 years old, it's like that reading there. I mean, still my own reading came into my orbit. My own reading, like from like several years ago, came into my orbit. And I remember when I was doing that reading, when I started watching the one reading, I was like, I remember that reading. And little did I know that I was going to be talking about myself, right? I felt it when I was reading it, but I didn't get the same feeling. I got some where I was like, well, I was right about that, but I didn't know it was about me at the time. So, you never know, you never know, you never know. All right. I'll do one more spin to see if we, Spirit, do we have any more channeling or any more messages before we move on to reading 3? Nope. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Now, because it's live right now, I don't have stuff in the description box, but if you watch this after it's posted, in the description box, there are links to my PayPal, my Venmo, Cash App. I keep wanting to take some off, and they're like, no. So I guess they're for certain people. And then my Amazon. They had me do Amazon gift cards if you, and there's some decks in there as well. So if you would like to see the channel do some readings, I'm opening the gates back up to uh, I know for a long time for the regulars and the all-stars, if you're watching this reading, I said don't send me any decks, but I opened it back up. Now I can receive some. I think before Spirit was like, we didn't need them, you know what I mean, at the time. And now I've gone through and curated my Amazon wish list again. So I have some gift cards. If you want to just send a gift card, that's awesome. And they start from $10 to like 150. And that's great because I can buy things like nail polish because my co-op lost their nail polish company and they don't know when they're going to get a new one. And I miss having nail polish. Yesterday, my friend's like, what's going on with your nails? I'm like, I need new nail polish. So sending Amazon gift cards are cool because then I can pick my flavor. Um, but I need like I'm always needing stuff, toothpaste, bedding, so cool. Thank you. But if not, you can send a deck. But remember also that prayer is free. It's about the exchange of energy. And even if it's just that you pray that somebody sends, $1 million my way. Awesome. You pray that I get the connections I need to, I already know it's happening, but either way, you get the gist. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. And for those of you who are sticking around, I'm going to take a little break before I jump into reading 3. We did reading 1. It's already here if you want to go back and watch from the beginning. The beginning was the intro, and then we went into reading 1. And reading 2 started, which this is the end of reading 2. Reading 2 started somewhere around 1 hour and 9 minutes. So if you want to go back and watch the end of this, if not, we're going to start reading 3 in just a few minutes after I take a break. And that reading is angel number 955. Reading 1 is angel number 13. Reading 2 is angel number 112. And reading 3 is angel number 955. Okay? And so far, nobody's come in to ask questions, so we're just going to keep plugging on. And yeah, I'll be back in just a short while. So either come back or hang out, and you'll hear when I come back. All right. Bye. Welcome, reading 3. Welcome, reading 3. So many cool things have been coming through. We've been doing this for 2 hours and 16 minutes, and we did reading 1, which was angel number 13, reading 2, which is angel number 112, and your angel number is 955. So you're meant to work with them on your own as well. And if you were drawn to the other readings, by all means, if you feel drawn to it, go to that. But right now I am feeling some kind of interesting things. Let me settle in here. Let's take some deep breaths. I'm feeling, my eyes went to the rosemary, so I'm going to burn some rosemary right now. Rosemary is really good for clearing the energy in the air. Rosemary is a good protector. Rosemary oil is good too, but if you have straight rosemary, it's really great. So I'm just smudging the area right now. I'm also going to light some lavender. We just came off a lavender season, and dried lavender is another one that's really good to burn. If you want to make, one of my favorite bundles is lavender, rosemary, and cedar leaves. Oh yeah. Now we're cooking with grease. Okay, it smells so good. And lavender sticks smell so yummy when you burn them. Beautiful, beautiful. They kind of smell like, they almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but they kind of smell like a sweet cloud. I don't know where that's coming from or why, but it does. It smells like it's like, I don't know. Okay, so we did bells in the other one. I'm not drawn to do bells in this one. We did clearings on those. So let's see if any of the, ooh, there's a card sticking out in this native spirit. Oh my goddess. There is a past life card in the native spirit deck. So if you guys were drawn to, I don't even know how that just happened. So if you guys were drawn to reading 2, I highly suggest you go and check it out, because I thought I put all the right cards back in the deck. So today we're working with the native spirit deck, and we're working with the past life oracle. Let's see if the native spirit deck wants to talk with you guys today. So far it's been 1 and 1. Reading 1 was the past life deck, and reading 2 was the native spirit. Oh no, we pulled both for reading 2, but reading 1 was just the past life. So do we have any? Oh, here we go. They're having me put it down. I'm not even seeing it yet either. Okay. And then let's see if we have any past life. Also, the readings were very, very different in the way that we constructed them, Spirit and I. So let's see what comes up for yours. Meaning, like the first one, we just like put all the cards up front and told the story. And the second one, it was kind of like we kind of inched it as we went. So we'll see. This card wants to come out. Oh, that wants to be the face. Okay, so I've got a native spirit card down, and I've got a past life cards are coming out. So interesting. The native spirit they're having me put first. I'll show you in a minute. And then communal living. Communal living from the past life deck is upright, and the ships is in reverse. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so far this is what we got. I just want to show you so you can see. So that's the back of the native spirit deck. So that will be revealed. But I feel like the visuals are important, even though I'm getting the vibe from spirit. They're having me continue to do these readings in this way. Just for now. They won't always be this way. But for now, I feel like they want you to be more like cerebral about it, you know, like they want you to really like take it in instead of, sometimes people can get so lost in the visual and and make something their story that's not their story. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. But as you know, I live next to a freeway. It's on a Sunday in summer, and you know, it's gotta be, what time is it now? So it's 10:40. Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, so I apologize for that, but maybe that means something for you, the motorcycle or maybe the loud. Okay, so the native spirit is just going to sit where it is right now. We've got the communal living, and we've got the ships in reverse. I rarely do this, but they are having me go backwards, and I'm reading the ships, but they want you to hear it as if it's in reverse. So I guess I'll explain as I go. Also, both of these decks are older, but the Past Life deck is really old. I think it's like one of the oldest oracle decks that are out there. It's by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. And what's the other one? So Native Spirit is from Denise Lynn. But the Past Life has a lot of like Christian influence in it. So if there's certain languaging that I don't feel like is necessary or good for the reading, I may reword it, but I usually will tell you, okay? But I try to read it verbatim because if they're having me read from the book, there's usually a reason for it. Also, it's on page 81, which is kind of interesting. That's the number 9. And your angel number that you picked was 955. And reading 1 is 13, but if you add it together, it's 4. Reading 2 is 112. If you add it together, it's 4. But if you add yours together, 5 and 5 is 10, plus 9 is 19, and 9 and 1 is 10. Completion and new beginnings. So I feel as if maybe the reason why, because this is, I release all that which I need to let go of and be free. Or I am releasing all of that which I need to let go of and be free. So maybe they're having me go backwards because they're like, in order for you to get to where you need to be right now, you need to go back to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And it's so weird because even though they're like right to left, like in order, technically the ship's card would be last, they're having me start there because this is where they want you to start. Does that make sense? Anyway, so your prior lifetime spent on ships bring this card to you today. As a former sailor, crew member, or ship passenger, you've had experiences at sea that have exerted an influence on the situation you're inquiring about. Now, this could just be on your story individually. So you probably already have a sense of the type of life you had aboard these ships. The question now becomes how your experiences have affected your present life. Negative reactions such as fears and phobias, or positive reactions such as longing to travel, or, hold on, it's on the next page, or special affinity for the ocean, all may have arisen in prior lifetimes. Interestingly enough, the next card in the book is spirituality and religion. And we literally just spoke about that in reading 2. So if you were called to reading 2, you may want to go check it out. And they didn't have me read it, but I feel like this needs to be said. It says, everyone's soul enjoys varied experiences and opportunities. So it's very common for us to explore a number of different religious and spiritual paths as we travel through lifetimes. While spiritual growth and knowledge accumulate during all lifetimes, the specific spiritual or religious path differs in each one. Perhaps the religion you were raised with doesn't coincide with your true beliefs. This acknowledgement may trigger guilt, fear, or shame unless you're aware of the bigger picture. Your spiritual knowledge is housed within your soul, and you are an eternal being who is forever connected to define. Oh, interesting. Freudian slip. Let's read it if that was like that. Your spiritual knowledge is housed within your soul, and you are an eternal being who is forever connected to define infinite wisdom. But in here, it says connected to divine infinite wisdom. But you're here to define infinite wisdom, reading 3. If you were trying to figure out like what's good, so there's something in your past that is, now it's in reverse. So it might not have anything to do with ships at all. Or maybe it's the opposite. Like you like have an aversion to the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, because this one was saying like, maybe you have an affinity, but maybe you have an aversion to the ocean. Maybe you don't want to be on a ship. You don't, I was telling somebody recently, oh yeah, or they're like, yeah, I'm just going to take the ferry over to Seattle, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. I'm like, what a fun day. I'm like, I've never taken the ferry. And they're like, what? They're like, how long have you lived up here? I'm like, well, I've lived in Washington. I'm like, for like almost a decade. And they're like, so you've lived here all that time and you've never been on a ferry, and you lived in Olympia and you live on like the Olympic Peninsula on the north side. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I just would drive around because I have almost drowned several times in this avatar's life, And so, and I'm a triple fire and my moon is in Scorpio. So it's like, I love the water. I love being around the water. I love being near the water, but I don't really necessarily like being in the water, you know? And I used to love to be in the water until I had too many things that happened and it didn't feel safe for me there. And the last time I was in the ocean, so deep that I couldn't touch, and I was boogie boarding, I had a shark encounter. So, and not knowing what I was at the time, being a light being, it's like, they were drawn to my energy. Now, that time I had gotten cut up, on the coral. Um, and so I shouldn't have gone back into the water. I'm sure they smelled my blood, of course. But at the same time, they didn't attack me. They just went by my leg ever so slowly. And it was massive and big. And I knew it was a shark. I knew it. And, and it was interesting because I was on the board with my upper body. So it was like when they went past my leg, it's like, I remember my ex was in the water with me and he was like, get out of the water. And I knew. I was like, oh my God. And like this wave came and like just swooped me up and dumped me. I mean, I got dumped, but I didn't die that day. I got dumped because spirit was like, everything told me not to go back in the water. But I did anyway, because it's like I was just finally like catching my stride and like having a good time and figuring it out. And so I wanted to, keep boogie boarding. It was so fun. And my goal was to be a surfer. I wanted to learn how to surf. And it was like, they're like, not for you, not for you. So, you may have something like that, some phobia. Maybe you loved playing violin as a kid and you were really good and you stopped playing. And then as an adult, you started taking it up and maybe you played a few times and you were a little squeakier than normal. And you're like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. They're like, well, you just have to practice again, It's just some things you can pick right up. You can ride a bike and it comes right back to you and you can just start riding the bike again. You don't have to practice, but there are other things where you got to keep practicing. So if you found yourself here, this is spirit telling you like what you love, you can't just do it once in a while. You got to be consistent about it and show the universe that that's who you really are and that's what you want to do and that's what you want to be. The communal living is interesting to me because my eyes were more drawn to that card than the other two. So I feel like the communal living has something to do with another phobia. So I'm going to go in the book and see what it says. Oh, interesting, you guys. I opened up the baby. So is somebody it says the situation you're inquiring about involves an infant on some level. Your oh my gosh, Freudian slip. Your unconscious mind will reveal the way in which a baby plays a role in your current life. You may have already received the answer in the form of a thought or feeling. Trust this information as your unconscious mind will slowly and gently help you remember and release painful memories. Maybe you lost a baby at sea. I don't know. That just came to mind, though. That could be just from one person. At first, you may think you're imagining this information, but as you put it together, more pieces of the puzzle through signs and additional recollection, you'll feel confident in claiming your past lifetime. This card can speak about you as a baby as well, in this or a previous lifetime. There may have been a trauma that you suffered as a baby or that involved a baby of yours in that lifetime. It may also describe parenthood in this or previous lives. Your feelings and thoughts will guide you so that you can discern the specific meaning. I feel like they didn't have me pull the baby card because the next one is biblical. So yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever this is, like I'm also seeing like a cult, like a religious cult. And so when I'm seeing communal living, I'm kind of seeing like a culty. So you could have grown up in a cult. I actually had a friend who literally grew up in a cult. And it could be something like that because a lot of light work has actually come out of those environments and it makes so much sense. especially if you're here to learn about, acceptance and judgment and, self, awareness and reliance and things like that. But it also could be that like maybe somebody in your community suffered like a loss of a baby in a past life, because this is the past life deck. It tends to go in real like past life, like outside of this avatar's life. Especially because the building on it is very biblical looking, like very old. Um, so I don't feel like this happened in this life, but that doesn't mean that it didn't. Okay. So let's go to the communal leaving and leaving. I just went to Celtic and then Egypt, and interesting because Egypt came up in reading 1, and we were talking about the Celtic energy in reading 1 as well. So if you were drawn to reading 1 or 2, you may want to go check them out. So that's interesting. Communal living. It's almost like I couldn't find it. Okay, it says the lifetime significant to your question. And remember, this isn't really a question. This is like, I am releasing all that which I need to let go of to be free. Now, if you are asking Spirit, what do I need to let go of to be free? The only reason why I was changing the languaging is I feel like when we ask too many questions of Spirit, instead of just seeking the answers to like whatever it is we need to hear, it somehow gets lost in the translation, and you can make something like too literal or pinpoint it too specifically, if that makes any sense. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. So it says, the lifetime significant to your question involved a communal setting, such as a convent, monastery, or tribe. Your earthly needs for shelter, clothing, and food were provided for. Although you held a job, written, another Freudian slip, like, but they're not Freudian slips. Like, I'm looking right at it, but maybe that means something to some of you guys. Although you held a job within the community, you fulfilled your responsibilities for the group and not for individual gain. In your current lifetime, you may feel troubled by the concept of money, individual earnings, savings, and bills. You may feel unsupported because your soul is accustomed to having a community support system. It's also on page 29, which is the number 11, and today's an 11 day, and that's an angel number. So yeah, and I was feeling this too. Like maybe even you guys traveled on a ship together. There could be something like that. Like maybe when you traveled to like a new world, either your baby or you were a baby or someone's baby died on the ship. And I feel like you had to just like put the baby, like, I feel like you had to keep the baby at sea. Like you couldn't I feel like it's part of the trauma was that, I feel like it was a grown baby, like lived outside of the belly, because I'm seeing them with a cute little hat on, and it could even be a toddler. I'm kind of seeing like 2 children and like a Sophie's Choice situation. I feel like you wanted to keep the bodies on the ship so that when you got to where you were, you could bury them so they can be with you, because you had such a strong religious like belief that they needed to be buried, and they were like, no, we either have to burn them or we have to, give them a sea burial. And they didn't want to do that. Like they didn't want to put them in the, whoever the mother was. And yeah, I mean, how fucking horrible to outlive your children, especially if they're littles like that. My heart is with you, reading 3. Whoever this is for, but I'm getting the chills. So that's definitely connected. But also the next card in the book is Egypt. And we spoke about that Egypt was in reading 1. So you may have a connection there as well. It could have even been that it wasn't on a ship, it could be something with that happened with the baby in the communal living situation for you in Egypt. Maybe it was different, because I'm not feeling like the Nile or like a river or anything. Okay, so this says, to assimilate in this lifetime, find the balance and harmony between individual and group needs, between give and take. Understand how you fit into the culture and how the group can help you achieve your individual goals and aspirations and further your spiritual growth. And remember, no man or woman is an island. Yeah, so they're saying like, you don't have to do this yourself. You may have thought you needed to do this yourself, but you don't need to do this yourself. You're not here alone. So, but once you release a lot of these old, outdated beliefs, then you'll be able to connect. Connect. That was so interesting. It was like, it's almost like you're having a hard time even using the word connect. I feel like a lot of you have been in like a hermit mode for a long time. You've been going through a deep emotional healing, which is great. But now Spirit is saying it's time for you to come back, into a community. This came up in one of the other readings earlier as well, bringing on a new community into your life, and calling it in, and saying to the universe, I'm ready to be with a community that raises me up and above. um, I spoke about this. I speak about this all the time, about the scene in 16 Candles where, he keeps trying to be so cool. And then finally she's like, stop. She's like, stop trying to be cool. So she's like, just be who you are. Like, just talk to me like a normal person, And so when they start talking, he bears his soul to her and he's like, but I just want to be like cool, like you guys. And she's like, well, but look at you with your friends, She's like, you're the leader of them. And he's like, oh yeah, the king of the dipshits. And she's like, yeah, but they need a leader too. She's like, we all play our role, and then she was saying how she had a crush on this really popular boy. And she was kind of like, well, look at you, like you have a crush on me. She's like, you're from like what you're calling the dipshits and the freaks and the geeks. She's like, and I'm longing for this beautiful, boy, that's everybody loves in school and he's popular and handsome and has money and she's like, I'm just in the middle somewhere, she's like, I'm kind of like somewhere in the fray. But I feel like maybe that's what it is. Like you're longing to be a part of something. You're longing to be, and for some of you, I'm hearing maybe this is the time for you to start your own group. Maybe you create something. If you're artistic, you draw up something really beautiful and you make copies and you put out flowers. Oh, cute. Maybe put a flower or like maybe put flowers on it. I don't know. That'll attract people. I heard flowers. That's cute. But I think the Spirit was trying to say followers. But I feel like for some of you, it's meant for you to like put out something in like your favorite neighborhood, your favorite coffee shop, your favorite restaurant, in the library, your favorite grocery store, but just somewhere where you're like, looking for like-minded people. I'm going to be at this cafe on this day at this time. I'll be the one with a flower on my table. Come sit with me. Let's have a chat and talk about spirituality. Let's talk about, and see what happens. You never know what's going to happen, but you're meeting them in a coffee shop, and then just make sure, that like they don't see you when you're leaving. I don't know who that's for, but, be mindful too, that there's sometimes it could be something that if you're still dealing with a dark, heavy energy, you might draw that in. So, if they come to join the group and they're not so great, then, just ignore them or ask, someone to ask them to leave, or just make sure that they don't see you walk home. I don't know who that's for, and I'm not trying to instill fear. I don't like to do that. I instill awareness. When it comes out though, I bring it out. But maybe that's why, or it could be, maybe that's one of your fears. Maybe one of you guys are afraid to put something out because you're like, who's going to show up? That's when you call on Archangel Michael and you say, Archangel Michael, I call on you and your mighty band of archangels to protect this, only bring to me the people that are for my greatest and highest good, to bring me into a higher awareness of self and to maybe, make some new friends. Now, it's like anything else. You might make friends right out the gate, or you might not. You may find out that you don't have the same, I have people who show up to my lives. This happened a few weeks ago where this Bible beater Christian was like trying to like, change us and all that. It's like, that may happen. But if you go at it with love and your intention is to connect on a loving way, then that's what you're going to bring to your orbit. But also, you may want to check in with like a local, yoga place or a crystal shop and just be like, do you have any gatherings? Or I've been saying this to you guys for years because it's true. All of my groups, all of the people that I've ever met were because I was doing spirit work in some way or another. So if you are actively pursuing that energy and you want to grow and learn and expand with others and to, heighten your awareness to self and spirit, then, those are the people that you're going to bring in. But if you're bringing in fear or you're concerned about what's going to happen, you're going to bring that in. So only think positive, think positive. Also, when I looked down, even though it wasn't there, I saw 11:11 because it's 11 o'clock on the clock. And then it was 2 hours, 41 minutes and 11 seconds. But all I saw was 11:11. So trust that the angels are looking out for you. But spirit is like, you know, I said it in one of the other readings, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? It's the same thing. It's like you can wish and want in one hand, but it's like wish in one hand and want in the other. But if you're not putting it out there, it's like, it's if you're saying, Spirit, I want to meet spiritual people, but you never leave the house. You have to actually leave the house, right? You have to actually join. And also, it's cool to have your online friends, but you need people in person. You need people that, you know, when you're like, I need a hug, especially for those of you who are going through a major transformation and awakening where you're pulling away from friends and family and you're feeling alone. You know, you can hug yourself, hug yourself. I'm hugging myself right now. Oh, hug yourself. It feels good to hug yourself. When you hug yourself, you get the same vibe. You really do. But it is nice to hug somebody once in a while, or to just, you know, go grab a cup of something or a meal and talk about the things that you want to talk about. I have so many people who really look forward to when we hang out because they're like, I love talking to you because I feel like when I talk to you, I don't have to censor myself. I'm like, well, no, of course you don't. If you are surrounded by people where you have to censor yourself, you're in the wrong area. You're with the wrong people. So the communal living, and it could even be for some of you that communal living would be something that would really benefit you. Maybe you grew up in a big family and you really like that, but you don't get along with your family very well, but you like the dynamic. You love to do chores. You love to cook for people. That's like your pleasure, but it doesn't take away from like your other things you like to do or how you make your money, right? It's like, drink some water. Oh, I'm hearing for some of you, oh God, I'm getting tremendous heartburn out of nowhere. I feel like for some of you that like makes you feel flush and heartburn just thinking about it. But it's time to get over that. Let's see what your native spirit card says. Grandmother Earth. Oh, I love it. That's right. She wants you to get grounded. Grandmother Earth. She's talking to you. She's talking to you. And look at how different she is. Look at how muted these cards are. And then you get here and it's like, it reminds me of, you know, I say it all the time for my regulars and all-stars from the scene from The Wizard of Oz when they come out of the dark forest and they're like, you're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, step into the light. Like, I feel like that's what this is. Open. Yeah, you just need to be open. You need to be open. No more fear, no more fear. It's an old programming. You don't need to be afraid of yourself. That's what I just heard. Isn't that interesting? Wow, I just heard you don't need to be afraid of yourself. Oh, reading 3, I love you so much. Okay, so the card meaning says, stop and take measure of your life. Assess who you are and where you are. Get grounded. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you are ready and feel secure in stepping forward. There is a profound source of strength and power within you, and it is expanding now. Put your roots down. This is the time of preparation and going deeper. It's also on page 56, which is number 11. I mean, come on. All right. Your native spirit wants you to know Grandmother Earth provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, and valleys, and supports us all with her bounty. She's stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved, even if you're not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you now. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that this is a good time to do so. But it's not a time to take risks. So they're saying like, if it feels good in your intuition and like it just everything's aligning, you know, you're out of the wood and you're like, look at everything's coming together, then that's good. I just got the chills. And Spirit's saying, yeah, like listen to your intuition. But if your gut is telling you no, or if like there's any part of it that feels negative, then at least sort through it first before you step into that, right? Because sometimes things look really easy on the surface, or it's like, well, that makes sense, let's just do that. but maybe there's something underlying that you're not looking at. Maybe there's something from these past lives that you need to release and let go of, that you don't even realize that you're making decisions on what's happening in your present day. And the best way to do that is through meditation and, asking spirit, what do I need to see? What do I need to look at from my past? Like I said, reading one, we spoke about Egypt, so you might want to go in there. We also spoke about Atlantis. But interesting, Egypt was more for the future. So that there might be some pearls in there for you. Okay, so the journey of this card says, to deepen your connection to Grandmother Earth and bring security in all forms into your life. Walk barefoot on the earth. Place your hands on the earth or make investments. Imagine the strengthening, grounding energy of the earth filling you and your life. It's also likening to like the Pentacles and the Tarot. So I almost feel like this is like the Queen of Pentacles in a way too, because I'm definitely feeling like be mindful of where you're investing your money. This kind of came up in one of the other readings about habits and changing habits. And this has come up a lot in our readings. So there must be at least one of you, if not more than one of you, that you spend way too much of your money on frivolous things like coffee every morning, or, and you're like, well, that's my thing for the day. And I bring my own food and I don't go out to eat that often, but that's my little guilty pleasure. I don't want to have to do that in the morning. And Spirit's like, but what if that was your ritual in the morning? What if your ritual in the morning was for self, to support self, And it's okay to get one once a week or once a month or whatever. But imagine, I had a friend one time that said that to me. We were talking about, where we put our money and things like that. And she jokingly said, yeah, she's like, I have my $5, and and this was some years ago. And so she got her hot beverage and a bagel every morning. And it was like around $5, $5 or $6 or something. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And they're like, why? And I go, well, that's $100 right there, that if you didn't do that every day. And they're like, wow, you count so fast. I'm like, well, it's pretty simple math. I'm like, 5 times 5 days a week, that's $25 times 4 weeks in a month. That's $100. I'm like, that's $100. I said, you spend $1,200 a year on getting your breakfast and your hot beverage. And then they responded, well, that's kind of cheap if you think about it. I mean, like, if that's my breakfast, I'm like, some people only live on $5 a day to eat. It's just perspective. I'm like, if you have the money to do it, that's fine. But just like, think about like where your money is going. And what if you only did it half the time and you invested, or you took $1,200 and bought yourself a really nice espresso machine, and then you could just do it at home and have it like while you're waking up and getting ready, and you buy a bag of bagels, or you make your own bagels, or you get them from, whatever. But I don't know. It's just about thinking differently, right? It's just about changing our mind and our perspective, and also our footprint on the earth. If she's getting a throwaway cup, that's 100 cups a month that may be recycled or may not, burning in a landfill somewhere. I mean, it's all in the way we look at things. And I feel like Gaia, Grandmother Earth, is calling out to you, to say, my mom always said, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So we can get lost in like the money aspect of it too, and not appreciate or respect how and where that energy comes from, if that makes any sense. Okay, do we have any more native spirit cards that want to speak with reading 3 at this time? I feel like you're going to get a lot from your angel number 955, or at least one person. I keep seeing somebody going into a search engine and putting in angel number 955. Oh, I think you might be getting another one. No, I think that's it. I felt like there was something else, though. Is there, Spirit, do you want me to pull any more cards from another deck, or do you want me to roll any astro dice? Is there anything else? Do we have any more messages coming through? Do you have any ancestors that want to come through and speak with reading 3 at this time? Oh my gosh, you guys, it's 11:10. Are we done? Is reading 3 done? So I'm going to leave it here because it's so perfect. So thank you all for being here. We're going to wrap it up at 11:10. Well, it's on timing for you guys. It's 2 hours and 51, but it's 11:10, and when it hits 11:11, I'm going to end this transmission. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you to all of our guides that came here today. I mean, whoever came here, we're so grateful. We close the portal now between this world and beyond, and say thank you with grace and gratitude for watching out for us and taking care of us. Whenever you watch this reading, it's timeless, but I hope that you have a beautiful and prosperous week, day, night, month, wherever you are. I'm sending you love. Spirit is sending you love. All of my information will be in the description box once I get this together. But if not, if you'd like to reach out to me, magickalmedium@gmail.com. And if you'd like to contribute, I will put links in the description box for you to do that from my Amazon or Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. And if that is not in your wheelhouse to do so, no worries. Prayer is free. It's about the exchange of energy. All right, you guys, that's it for now. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh, love you. Bye.